era looking dark, buddy.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, well, it's looking dark, but no problem. What's up, buddy? What's up, man? Today's
Man, another day,
100
100
day
days.
of 100 day of Honorable Boyka,
Yes.
100 day of the UP government.
Yeah. 100 days. I understand no car is stuck in the mud again in Liberia.
Nah, cars got stuck in the mud, man. When I told you, like, bro, the whole thing I feel like pulling get vexed. But I mean, let me say, welcome to the closing argument, everyone. In radio, wherever you are, welcome to the closing argument. It's good to be back. To all our viewers in Liberia, around the world, we say welcome. Today is Wednesday, May 1st. Today marks exactly 100 days of the President Joseph Nyeman Boyka-led UP government in power. And everyone has their own version of how the 100 days should be described. But we'll be discussing it today. We'll talk about 100 days, what happened, whether it was they accomplished what they said they're going to accomplish. We'll discuss it. I mean, we all witnessed what happened. We've been in and out of Liberia, but everything's up. But we're going to know. But again, I say welcome again. Somebody take it. Somebody from the calling from. So.
Yes, guys, welcome to the closing argument. We got a few people here watching. We got Newly Lloyd Benson. You are the first here today. Welcome, Luli from ELWA. James Coyote. Good evening, James. Welcome to the closing argument. Watching from Duper Road, Harmonfield Community. Winifred Smith from Maryland. Welcome, our dear sister, Winifred. Factual. My 100-day progress report grade from the Boyka administration is a solid C average. Somebody already giving him C average. Eleanor Davids, watching from the ATL. Thank God you people are on. I followed this show. I look forward to the show. Please keep up with time. However, Newly, we got your message, but Eleanor, sometimes it's not us. It's to keep the show going. We need your support, so that's why we're going to be calling on some of you to donate to our Cash App program to keep it going. So this show here is run directly from the guys you see here on the closing argument. So we're going to put our Cash App out later on today. If you want to contribute, please do, because we want to keep this show going. We don't want to keep it off the air. We want to keep it going. Ange, great to be here. Final grade for 100 days is F. Michael Wamba. Good evening, gentlemen. I'm watching live from Congo Town, Monrovia. Michael, welcome, man. Welcome, guys. Today we're going to have a real strong conversation today. 100 days. Sometimes people talk and talk. I mean, I had some friends, and we live in Ghana together many years ago in a refugee camp, and we had a name that we call ourselves. Say Liberians. We give ourselves names. We call it public big mouth. Liberians are great. Politicians are great for what they call public big mouth. They get out there, make big mouth for things that they can do. And then, when they come up, Liberian people yelling behind them, running all behind them. Yes, it's 100 days. You can't do this. You come and make big promises, see what's going on. So today we're going to be dissecting the 100 days of President Joseph Nyeman Boyka. People are running all over the place. People are, they're trying to find a road to be completed, but it couldn't work for the 100 days. Really, really sad. Another issue that have been trending is the Supreme Court refusal to take over the writ of inquiry from those that were fired from the Liberia Telecommunication LTA authority. They refused. The same Supreme Court who ruled that the government action was wrong and they should reinstate the people and withdraw. The same Supreme Court said, "No, they can't take out the case." The country is a flat country. When I tell you this thing, I tell outgoing ready here. The generation, maybe the generation in the 10 or 20 may see something new, but those in the 20 and 30, just forget it. Just do the best you can to make life happen, but don't rely on your government to create that opportunity for you at all. Don't rely on them because the rescue 100 day that rescue vla RV vla from I call it from so complete vlon. Nothing happened. 100 days. We have the chairman himself is here, Chairman Ben Sanvee, our political strategist. He's going to be dissecting this whole 100 days of of, of, of the Vla rescue mission. We're going to be dissecting
The
it.
chairman dressed up
100
because
days.
100 days, he not dressed up in it. Like an executive, got to celebrate Burger 100 days, he not dressed up like this.
Yeah.
Oh no, man! It's been a difficult day for me. We lost what's his name?
100 went to.
Yes, and just been busy. I have a field trip tomorrow, so I've been trying to wrap up. So I said, let me come and jump on quickly. But yeah, and this didn't want to lose part of the conversation about this 100-day issue. I think I don't think a whole lot was accomplished. I think I always used to say during the election, you can win an election by propaganda, but you can govern by propaganda. In fact, I think the CDC has issued a statement, and it's detailed with the entire. They literally took the entire chart of the 100 days and have everything that has been accomplished and everything that has not been accomplished. And it's striking. And the truth of the matter is, this is their own document that the CDC took and injected. I saw today the Liberty Party, the ANC, and the MCC issued a statement. It was read by Simeon Freeman, condemning the removal of the folks from LTA. So there's just a lot going on, and I saw the president. Making a statement, I think, at the ministerial complex saying, let them talk. One of the things that I'm fascinated about is that I told you, I said, apparently every time somebody become president, they get into that mansion, I think they can drink something and water. Because apparently all of these presidents say the same thing. Remember, George Weah said the same thing when he became president. Let them talk. I'm doing the work of the Liberian Post. So yeah, then go on Facebook and talk. Ellen called her critics noisy minority. And I think I just think it's a disappointment. It's a disappointment. The entire 100 days has been characterized, guys, by the fight for jobs, replacing people here and there, firing ordinary people. I saw some documents today. Some folks sent me some documents from NOCAL today, where the president of NOCAL is firing drivers. Can you imagine the CEO of a company writing a driver and signing the letter?
So who's in charge of NOCA right now?
Rosalyn Swakoko Dennis.
Well, she resumed.
Firing people. She fired Gerald Bashu. She fired
the legal counsel.
the general counsel. She fired her. She fired drivers. I mean, it's outrageous. I mean, I saw some documents today. I was sending it to you. Somebody sent it to me and said, and this is not only happening at this agency, it's happening at other agencies also, right? Other agencies, people are there. It's just a total calamity. And I think a couple of things are happening here. I want to believe that maybe the president, I don't know, maybe he just doesn't care. I heard him say that he's going to close down Western Cluster. Listen, I share his anger with what's happening in the Western region. Don't get me wrong. But there have to be a plan. You can't just close down a company. What happened to the people who have jobs at those companies? What happened? There have to be a plan. This is not an emotional thing. That's why I kept saying to people, campaigning and running an election is one thing, but governing is another. And it clearly shows here that this unity party is not the unity party of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf came way more prepared to govern the country than Joe Boyka is at this stage in his presidency. Those are my initial thoughts. I think that the first 100 days have been a flop, a total flop. I don't think they have anything to celebrate. I saw them launching the 10,000, whatever. What did they do today? I think the 10,000, whatever the IT thing for the young people. If you launch an IT program for 10,000, you said that you were going to train 10,000 people within 100 days. That was his promise, except I stand to be corrected. I think that's what he said in his State of the Nation address. But you launched the program on your 100 day and then you want to count it as a success of your 100 day. I think you're playing fun of the Liberian people. But listen, this is what a small fraction of the country decided that they wanted. So I think we give the president the benefit of the doubt. Let him continue to govern the country and let him see what I even saw lastly. I even saw Mr. Thank you very much. You know, the Pape who was made famous. You remember after Joe Boyka became president, they carry him to go see him. Thank you very much. He complaining all on the internet how he can't see nobody, he can't hear from nobody. Listen, they say how you made a beta, how you will later in there.
Well, let me welcome Grace. But before let me say, like Ben said earlier, we want to express our condolences to the family of Comrade McDonald Winto, his tenor bearer of the opposition United People's Party (UPP). I know there was a time he affiliated with the CDC in 2011. He affiliated with the CDC. Later on, he became the tenor bearer of the UPP. I think he endorsed the UP in this election, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But he was a businessman. Want to say our condolences to his family. Our thoughts and prayers with the family of Comrade McDonald Winto. I think we lost him today. But Chairman, as you said earlier, look, in fact, we got special people watching us tonight, especially from our U.S. friends, some our U.S. people who told them to watch this show tonight because we're talking about. These are people that when the government people come in, some of the people they can meet. When they are watching us tonight to hear us Liberians deliberate, give the merits and demerits about President Boyka's 100 days. And honestly, no matter whether you supported him or not, the records are there. They have been a complete failure on a serious note. All we notice, they have been fighting for venting, they have been fighting for jobs. They have been showing their anger, being vindictive to the people, to those who the political opponents. As in 100 days, what most people would do, they would try to reach out to the opposition to at least say, "Look, we are in charge. We won elections over. It's now time to work for the greater good of the country." But we have not seen it in this government. All they have been doing just to go after the political opponents to make sure that they come after them. That's what we have noticed in the last 100 days. And all this, for instance, I was looking at something this morning. For instance, during the first 100 days, the $600,000 inauguration budget, they said they were going to investigate it. Nothing came out of it. Then President Boyka said he was going to set up a committee to report to him in 2 weeks about the Army wives protest. Nothing came out of it. The UP chairman, Luther Tappet, $300,000 he took for, he said they were going to investigate. Nothing came out of it too. All the various contracts with MedTech, CTN, all these stuff, the issue about the YA fees, the free public school tuition, we haven't heard nothing about it from this government. And as a recovery, it's a joke. Nothing good. I mean, the idea is good, but nothing substantial to show. I don't know the start of the after recovery committee right now. I don't know what they are doing right now, because the last time they were there, playing the role of a policeman and taking people's cars and so forth, asking about documents. We don't know where it is today. And talk about the war crimes court. Information I'm getting that we'll hear something from him this week before he leaves the country for the USA. He will be making a statement on it before he leaves or taking action on it. Let's see what happens before Friday. Talking about LECs, the Liberian people have been complaining about LEC since the new government. Nothing has changed. All we have heard about fire have been all over the place. The government have been every day is fire. All we have about fire, people have houses burning and so forth. and they issued about he had not met with the business community to say, well, let's engage them. There's no issue about improving the economy to say, well, we're going to infuse some cash in the economy to affect prices of goods and commodities. Nothing. And they have been, all the papers I've seen today, the papers I've seen are carrying headlines that it's all fiasco. And President Boga gave a speech today. I'm surprised.
Did you even listen? Did you even understand what he was saying today?
I think Keff was trying to tell me, but I didn't listen to it. Keff was trying to tell me.
I had no idea. I mean, I tried to listen to the speech. He was slurring on his words. He just,
so,
you know,
I tell you, this government is in trouble. If the thing is, if they honestly, I won't be surprised if the next 6 months, if the things do not change, what the Liberian people experienced on June 7, 2019, against the George Weah government, I'm gonna see it happening. If things get hard on the people would take to the streets to protest. I can see it happening because all promises they have made, and he said no car will get stuck in the mud. Cars have got, even the UN report, cars got stuck in the mud. So as on that promise, he scored F on that. He shouldn't say that no car will get stuck on a major highway and so forth. Nothing we have seen to say we can point to that he has delivered. He called for audit. NSA audit. After a few days, he said, no, I take it back. No audit. NSA shouldn't be audited again. And so forth. So, Grace, Peabody, you guys can chime in about 100 days. You guys will all been witnessing it. Peabody said he
Grace coming.
So, I'm sure Peabody will speak today, but he said we'll give them time. So, we'll hear from everybody today. What's the 100 days about?
Thank you, Peabody. Hi, everyone on the platform, and hello to the listening audience and the people listening in Liberia. If you're watching the show, please help us to share the show to other platforms so that people can get, diverse information. It's important that our people, get different information from different places, because sometimes we are so stuck on one information until the country just go, out of the way because of people keep on repeating things over and over to the Liberian people, and they're not hearing from the other side. So please share the platform. This is a diverse platform. Other us don't believe in the same thing. We don't agree with the same thing. So at least you will hear different sides of our ideas and the information that we have gathered. As far as Joseph Boaga 100 days, the first thing I want to go into with the whole thing about his 100 days, the last thing that he did in this government before the 100 days kick in was suspending the Board of Commissioners at the LTA. And after the Supreme Court had allowed them, to actually be able to stay in the positions, he suspended them. So that is part of his first 100 days. So he suspended them on the grounds of allegations of financial malfeasance at the institution. So he wanted to make sure they were audited. And usually when the government is auditing a certain entity of the government, the people in place that's being audited are supposed to remain working until the audit goes on, until the findings are there and everything, before you can maybe make a decision on expelling them or suspending them for whatsoever, dysfunction in the audit, or whatsoever information that was not feasible in the eyes of the government, concerning the work that it was supposed to do. But that is not the case. He suspended the auditors. He suspended the board commissioners, and the Supreme Court ruling, he bypassed it. And when it said that, okay, so because they ruled that they go back to where he suspended them. They went back, and we should already employ the people from LTA. They went back in the communication. They said that they wanted the Supreme Court to look in the suspension of the president, suspending them again after the Supreme Court had ruled that they could work. And the president, the Supreme Court now saying that they will not be able to overrule the president suspension on them. And then I start to think, so is the Supreme Court now siding with the president? Is anything in the law saying that they cannot overrule the suspension and let the people work until they are audited? or is the Supreme Court now is siding with with President Bouaka because he's the president of Liberia, and for Liberian culture, the president has all the power. So we are confused here. This to me is breeding dictatorship in broad daylight. So it's part of his 100-day dysfunctional behavior that we are seeing. And I'm just saying out there that the LTA or commissioners should not let it be, although the Supreme Court, the writ of prohibition against the president's suspension was filed and the Supreme Court denied them. They should find another means in the law to make sure that they are given due process in the court system. So that one of the failures to me about Bouaka 90 days, that you want to dictate to the court system on what to do. So you bypass and started to make other provisions for you to get your way done, and forget about people whose lives are being affected. For a president who came in saying that he was for the people, this government is like a family government. Everybody within the institution are either related to him, or he know them and he hired their children. We are not seeing really new, fresh faces with ideas that are supposed to come and execute what they're supposed to execute for Liberia. We are not seeing that. All we are seeing is Bouaka hiring people that were there in Ellen Johnson government that he got along with, and he brought them back after they already went out there into the private sector and they were living their lives. He brought them back to come and do jobs that they already had left and might not be able to deliver in this day. It's got things are changing. So that one of the failures too about his 100 days. He boasted in his speech today. I listened to it. I was so disgusted. He boasted about his agricultural development plan. The plan he boasted about, we have not seen any underway work towards that plan. He's just talking and talking. And the thing is that our people are so gullible when they listen to that. So, yes, hail to the president. And, hail to our president, our leader. God bless you. But if you have a plan and you have not even put a work in place to execute that plan, what does the plan do for the Liberian people? Nothing. It's just a plan. We all got plans. I got plans right now to do a lot of things. If I don't put my mind and I don't put my work into executing it, the plans is just there. So it's like the Bible says, faith with all work is dead. You got faith, but you're not working towards it. And you say, God will bless you. As the Liberian people usually would do. Oh, God help us, or they go to church Monday through Sunday and pray, and they don't have anything doing, but they say, God, just send manna from heaven. What he did in Bible days that are not happening again. They say it should happen in that Bouaka or agricultural plan he posted about today. Look to me. He also talked about the launch of the launch of the cultivation of Liberian farm in Fender to help the university students. And I don't know when they launched it. I look all over the internet. I did not see the launching. Because things like that, when they are launched, at least we're supposed to see the program. He said it was launched, and we have not seen that. And he talked about this the fight against substance abuse, that is being effective. No, we don't see that being effective because the last time we checked, A.B. Kroma was inviting somebody he said he suspected to be a drug dealer to a 5-star hotel to go sit down and have lunch for them to talk. So my question is, why is he meeting with a suspected drug dealer? If that person is actually a drug dealer, why is he wanting to meet with them as a boss of DEA? That's a shame. It's kind of concerning to the Liberian people. You don't carry the man to court, you carry him to the police station, but you won't meet him in a 5-star hotel area. So that's one of the things that I don't understand when he said that the fight had been effective. Where are you guys seeing it though? Maybe I'm missing something, because I just seen people passing around, cutting people's hands, and some people dying, but they said we never seen nothing really happening. Or the police director has not come to really say anything, or the DEA has not come to really say anything about the different boys that they have, and what what they have done so far, what drugs that they have gathered, and what they did with it, and all those things that we need information. So when he was saying that, I was just like, okay, that's the same old charade. I got my last one. He posted about the rules will be greater in the team. how the roads are, and y'all just talking about that, it's not happening. He said they're going to maintain the roads and make sure that all the roads are pliable, that people can go and come. And he said like Brentport have been posting that they can go to Grand Judah for 6 hours, and come back. And they used to take almost 2 weeks to come back. He did not actually say that, but he said they've been posting that. I read it somewhere that people started saying that they can go to Grand Judah from a river and take 6 hours. So that one of the things that he talked about, I have not really seen yet, but it's just 100 days. So maybe that Brentport will consider him on that. He talked about, he said one thing it's one thing to rescue the country, but it's another thing to set it on the right trajectory. And that is so true. I will agree with him on that. It's one thing I say I came to rescue. As far as we can see, there is no rescue going on. The people are even suffering more. Money business too high in the country. I mean, the people can't eat and all kinds of things. We see all kinds of things on social media. And then it's one thing to rescue the country, which you have not even rescued yet. And it's one thing to change the trajectory of the country for it to be on the right path. We are hoping you do that because that's why the people voted for you in majority. So that's my take on the first 100 days.
Well, thank you, Grace. Thank you, Grace, for letting just giving a brief description of what he said today. But I think the first 100 days of President Barker is a massive failure. I think all he did was to further divide the country, disobey the law of the country. The Supreme Court decision. Like I said here on Monday, that a leader is not the one that takes side. A leader is the one that takes control of situation. But you see clearly that he was so much divisive right after the Supreme Court rule. I'm wondering whether he's even in control, whether Bibi Bouaga is even in control. President Bouaga is even in control of his country. I'm wondering. I don't think so. People are writing letter on his behalf, signing on his behalf, and it's like he does not know what is going on. Because I don't know what political advice was that in the first 3 months, car will not be stuck in who what a country where you got rules that have not even been fixed for before we're even born, and you talking about in the first 100 days no car will be stuck in the hole and stuff like that. No wonder why his car was stuck in the dust there in the hole today or in Birmingham County or wherever he was going. Okay, I think it's been a failure. We saw how he been divisive here, how he been he violated the law, how he bring division. You go into every office, you firing everybody. You don't got one plan in place for unemployment. How will these people benefit? What will people get in the long term? You don't got one plan to even create more jobs. All you're doing now is to bring in your travel men and to bring in your partisan. That's all he's doing. Travel men. I mean, look at the LTA. The head is from Lofa. The other guy was his name, Patrick Hunter. He's from Lofa. It's the time. And it's really sad. Look at the EPA. Some of those people were trained. You don't tell me all those people that Sam Gates started to fire were not trained people. Some of them were trained. You just go in with this vindictive behavior and just try to fire people, try to do this. I think it's fair. You saw how he failed on almost everything. Oh, we'll do this. So I'm wondering if he's even in control of his own government. From what I see happening, I have a concern that he's not sure what he's even doing in his own government. He's confused. I mean, he's just moving about. Look at it's been 100 days. Civil servants have not even taken pay yet. 100 days. Okay? So what's really going on? 100 days. If you ran on the mantra that you are going to change this, you are going to bring this to light, you are going to ensure that people get paid, you're going to ensure that look at the electricity situation in Liberia. It's not time. This is not a time to blame George Weah. You ran. You said you were the best one to fix it. You were the best person to take control. So don't put blame on George Weah at this time. Because when George Weah was in power, when they put blame on President Sali, I would say no. This is not the time. This is not where you're going to blame him. Don't put the blame on President Salih. You said you were the one to run this. You have the solution. They say you work in government 40, 45 years, you got all the experience. The first 100 day complete disgrace. You got nothing, not a thing to show. And that's why I say don't put your hope on Liberia too much. Don't on our government. Not really.
I just want to say something quickly because I need to take a small break and I'll join you guys again. But, I want to say there's this notion that people say, and I just hear Peabody say the same thing. He doesn't know. Peabody was asking the question, not that he's saying it. He was asking the question on whether President Barker is in control. Look, I think he is in control. And let me tell you why I think so, Peabody. And this is not, like I said, this is just to expand on what you said. I think this is who President Joe Barker is. Look, if you look at President Barker's career as a public servant, if you look at his years in government, he has never been able to assume responsibility or to take leadership for anything. Let's just be frank, right? You can see symptoms of a leader along the way in their career. If you look at President Joe Barker, when during the election, when they asked him about what happened with LPRC, what happened to LPMC, what happened to Agriculture Ministry when you were vice president, then came the famous line that he was a race car parked in the garage. When you talk about those other entities, it was like, okay, he was not the president, right? Even when you talk about vice president, he was not the president. Let's fast forward to when he was in the CPP, right? When he finally assumed leadership of the CPP. Let's not forget that the CPP broke up on President Joe Barker's watch. All of these symptoms of leadership that we saw, it clearly tells you. That's why I tell people all the time, I never really expected a whole lot, because what I see here is a leader who, or what I see here is someone who, into a certain extent, have a hard time sometimes making tough decisions, making a firm decision and owning up to it and staying by it. That's what I've seen over the last couple of over the 100 days. You talked about the issue with his signature campaign thing about cars not getting stuck in the mud. I heard the Minister of Public Works on another network saying, well, it was him expressing his intent to not wanting to see cars get stuck in the water. Why do you double down on it? Even after he won the election, he doubled down on that statement. When you talk about the issue of the drug epidemic in the country, the drug situation in the country, let's look at what was the signature achievement for the drug war in Liberia from President Barker's standpoint. He took a drug test, even though nobody accused President Joe Barker of being a drug addict. Nobody did, not once. Nobody accused him of ever taking drugs. Nobody accused him of even smoking cigarette before in his life. But the signature success of the fight against drug under President Joe Barker was that he took a drug test. He called the cameras in front of him and he took a drug test. Meanwhile, you have the DEA. There's an internal fight there with the leadership. You hear them every day crying for resources. When the president submitted, the other thing that I saw, and I want to highlight here, I see people clapping for the national budget that was just unanimously passed by both houses in the legislature. That is not Joe Barker's budget. The budget that was unanimously passed by the national legislature is the national legislature budget. The budget that Joe Barker submitted to the national legislature was 690 something million. The one they passed was 700 plus million, 730 something million. They reworked the entire budget. They reworked the entire budget. They increased
8 million, yeah.
Exactly. They increased different sectors. What was put in the money in the budget when it came to the fighting of drugs? I think $1 million or even less. It had to take the national legislature under the leadership of Speaker Kofa and Yombikanga Lawrence then and Amara Conan and all of them to come together to rework the entire budget. All through that, you saw a conference committee from both houses. So I see a lot of Unity Party people running around celebrating, everybody did not pass the president's budget. That was not the president's budget. The budget the president sent to the national legislature was rejected. It must be stated. That budget was rejected. If that budget was accepted by the national legislature, they would have passed it the way he sent it to them. They literally went. You saw senators and representatives working on Sunday, reworking that entire budget. And so in the end, I think that's the reason they passed the budget. And guess what's going to happen? President Joe Barker is going to gleefully sign that budget as if That was his budget. That was not his budget he sent. The budget he sent was lopsided. The budget he sent did not have investment, real investment in critical strategic areas. The budget he sent left a lot of holes and a lot of loopholes for people to steal and for people to use it as a money laundering tool, right? The budget he sent gave the Ministry of Finance $172 million, which was unexplainable. The budget that was recently passed by both houses, trust me, I got my issues with the national legislature, but I must commend them for taking that national budget and tearing it apart and keeping his core arrest things, but it almost like the national budget prioritized more than Joe Boyka prioritized his own agenda. So I just wanted to state that for the record, that we're going to see him make a big fanfare out of signing the budget, but let the Liberian people, let the word go forth that the budget that the president is going to sign is not the budget he submitted to the national legislature. And that is a shame. That is a shame, because the way it normally works, every president, every newly elected president that comes, more than likely gets the national budget to sail through. But you know what they do? The Ministry of Finance and the financial technocrats work with the people in the national legislature to come up with something in a unison mapping here. You saw Boyma Kamara then sit down in the Ministry of Finance and put something hastily together. By the way, cut and paste the CDC administration last budget that was sent back to the executive mansion. They cut and pasted. Even if you read the forward of the budget they submitted, they praised the CDC government for growth in the last year of the CDC administration, and they went and they sent it to the national legislature. It was the national legislature that went ahead and tore that budget apart, and that we can see something now where there's a breakdown that people have where you can see some of the money was sent in different places. I just thought to make that clarity.
Yes, Kerabo, welcome though. Many people thought about change when the way in which the campaign was ran. They thought about change. The country would have been on a change pathway. But what we have seen over the last 100 days, people who supported this campaign, they are all what we call pissed with what's going on. I mean, I will be like, for instance, my good friend Stanton was, I think I saw a clip where he went off on this the rescue team that he supported. I think he's frustrated with them too now. Everybody's frustrated. Even Amara, who led the runoff fight, I think he finally said he's independent. He's not with them anymore. So I see people making some comments, but if it's not us, people who supported this rescue mission, they're the ones who are more in the majority that are criticizing them now. They are disappointed. Okay, so those who never supported already knew the outcome, knew that it was all deception. Nothing better would have come out of it. So there's nothing not surprising. But the people who supported, who raised their money, who put their money, everything to it, they're the ones who are shocked about what's happening. And all we have seen is the fight for jobs. And the manner in which the country is trending is wrong, because with a divided country, election was held, 50.6% of the vote was won by President Boyka. Just we are 149.3%. And to see a divided country, what you want to do to govern from the middle, bring the opposition people together, but instead the country is more divided, because you go into jobs, take people from the jobs, say, I want Kelabo job. That job Kelabo get I want. That job, only job I want, that Kelabo job I want. The job Grace got I want. Okay? And that's what happening right now over the last 100 days. And look, if anything should come up in our country today, because the country is divided, people will go after each other because they're not happy. And lastly, before Kelabo come on, look, I was told by somebody, I think a few days ago, if they trend continue, the Boyka government will be one of the government that the U.S. government will have the higher amount of sanctions. You thought the sanction job we have people plenty? If they're not careful, many of them will face U.S. sanction because they're watching them. They're watching them, and they're gonna see what happens because they already know. In fact, there are documents we have in our possession of things that happen in the government already. Imagine the budget not even passed. The president haven't signed the budget yet. People already in the cookie jar. So you know when it's bombshells start to come out on them. And the good thing about it, we are fearless. I'm not I'm an independent minded person. I don't care whether you from CDC or UP or whatever the case. We're talking. What the song say? The thing you know about me with my talking, we're talking. We're definitely talking here. So that's what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks and months. So they already know themselves. The hands in the cookie jar already. And look what happened at Royal Grand Hotel. I was disappointed when I saw the DA statement. I mean, honestly, first of all, I'm supporting my friend and brother AB Kuma. How will you conduct? How will you invite somebody? Is that where the office of the DA is? You invite somebody to a hotel to go and talk about what? And then you see what happened. And the statement they gave yesterday, it was just irresponsible, reckless, because they're trying to justify what happened there. It's wrong, And I can tell you, what happened there, it's been documented. People already sent it around on the hill here. People know about it already. So some of the guys, they will find themselves having serious problems very soon. And if you're a U.S. citizen working in Liberia, if you commit a crime, you will bear a heavy weight of it. So I just hope they are aware people who are U.S. citizen working in Liberia and think they will get away, make a mistake. But the 100 days, honestly, it's completely chaotic, and people are disappointed. Honestly, if they have done something good, we will be praising them. I will praise them. Like I said, I welcome the asset recovery, but it was done the wrong way. Audit, I welcome audit, but where the audit going? You are targeting people. You are targeting people. And lastly, President Boga going to sign. He will sign the budget before he leaves the country I think on Friday for the USA to come. He will issue that executive order for the War Crime School, and he will take off, because what he's going to do on Friday, most people get pissed off, especially if he rescue people, don't get pissed off, and he probably will be in the air traveling while they get grumbling and taunting. But Kenabo, come talk to us, brother.
Is that a big thing you wrote on your Facebook page yesterday? Is it big
thing? Kenabo, stop. Just talk. Talk
a big thing. Talk a big thing.
Talk 100 days, brother. Let's go.
No. So I want to hear that big thing.
I'm not guess. That talk.
So anyway, I'm happy to be back. I missed the show on Monday. I'm practicing for my next tournament. For my next tournament game. I'm a tennis player. Tomalin, I've been telling you. So our season has started in Pennsylvania. So I'm in a group.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. By the way, who won the game today? My country, Basel. The beat Basel today?
They beat Basel.
Oh.
River G beat Basel. So I'm practicing. So sometimes I'll be missing the show because of that. I've played 2 games so far. 3 games so far. 3 out of 3 I won. And I won 2 straight sets. So that shows my skill and level in tennis. I'm so excited about that. But so happy to be back for this show. Hear what I will say. Not much I can say on the 100 days, because when you look on how things have been done, we retrospect on the elections. Promises that were made in the election. For me personally, I'm not a big believer in this concept of 100 days, because I know people go to election. Many times, typical politicians say things they don't believe will happen. Okay? When they start to govern, then the reality sets in. And I think the same thing is going to be happening, and is even happening now. So, but based on President Bouakar's experience, based on the fact that the United Party was ruling party for 12 years, they only rested for 6 years. They come back. So they have so much experience. They have reservoir of knowledge on governance issue where they defaulted, where they failed in 12 years. They could come and actually correct these things right away. So they actually have all in their favor to actually do well, at least, quote unquote, within the first 100 days. But you have a few disappointments. I listened to the president this morning when he was addressing, I don't know wherever he was. He was talking about BMI, the Western Cluster. that he will shut it down. I've told their lawyers I won't shut it down. And the main reason he gave was, for me, the disappointing part. I am for shutting down Western Cluster. Western Cluster is just part of the failures in the extractive industry. It's just part of the massive corruption that ArcelorMittal, B Mountain, all these companies are involved in. Liberty Go, all of these, they are just exploiting the country. Okay? I'm for shutting down all of these extractive companies because they bring no value to Liberia, but they pollute our environment, they destroy our environment. But for the president to say, because they are transporting the iron ore by road, and if he doesn't shut it down, there will be no breaches, the damaging the breaches. I think that is a shocking reason for me, Mr. President. Mr. President, you shut down Western Cluster because they are involved in raw exploitation of our natural resources without benefit, and they're hauling the quantity of oil they're taking from the country. So they're not even paying the requisite custom and duties and royalty they're supposed to pay to the government. They are hiding all these things. They are engaged in corruption in the mining sector, just like ArcelorMittal. That's why you should shut it down. But to say because breaches are being destroyed, the guys can. These are these are companies with millions, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. They can walk out and say, Mr. President, if I will put a new bridge, they can go and do that right away. If that is the only reason you have. I think the president should have stated more cogent reason why he thinks Western Cluster should be shut down, which I agree with him, we should shut it down, but not to shut it down because bridges will be destroyed, because bridges are the least, okay? Part of my disappointment is the terminal talking about the jaw issue. So I sit back and listen to the different shows. When I see the whole job thing, people are still going, I want Tomalin job, I want the other that I play, I won't go. That is not a change. Because it's like we just going in a cycle. It's like a vicious cycle. Oh, you got the other group of predators come. After 6 years, the other group succeed. They come and replace them with another group of predators. Let's have a system in which that if somebody is working, it doesn't even matter who sit there. The rules are followed. The procedures are followed. That it makes no impact if somebody is leaving that position. People will not even care who going there. But as it stands now, many civil servants are even worried as to who come and be their director, who come and be their days, because we are now running a rule-based governance process. Anybody comes there and do their own thing. They write their own rules, what to do, they follow their own procedure. That is how it has been. That's why the country is very corrupt. Because every time we have new government, they come with their own new idea to steal, their own new corruption ideas. And for it to still be happening in the first 100 days, when President Bouazizi said he was going to transform, be a change agent, that doesn't look like a change to me. To be repeating the same thing that they did when the transition in 2005. They did that CDC did also in 2018. The same thing. So it doesn't look like a change to me. And some of the reason I've heard when they're changing on the tenant position, removing people, but Eddie removed tenant people before. Oh, CDC removed people. Oh, but you say you're going to be different than all the other people. So anytime somebody start to use bad example to justify why they're doing something, then you know that they are in trouble. I look at them, I'm like, they say, oh, but the man, maybe you were loving to this man, he loved to somebody girlfriend before, so I'm going to love to your wife. I mean, if you give that kind of reason, it does not make sense. You can't use someone wrong to justify your own wrong. You should do good and justify a good example why you're doing the good. So what it's saying now, it doesn't make sense. If you look at it, let's go to public works on the 100 days. Everybody knew that 100 days was a political statement. But for the power minister to be using the 100 days to actually engage in a classical definition of corruption, because what the power minister is doing, I know you guys defend us here, and I expect them to maybe push by, but I'm ready to defend it because I know the PPCC law, the Public Procurement Act is very clear. The Public Procurement Law of 2010, it was written in 2005, it was revised in 2010. It is very clear. There is a section that deals with sole source. That section has conditionalities on what condition under which you can do sole sourcing. The act of the Power Minister does not meet any of the conditions. But what the Power Minister, when he was there as Deputy Minister with Judy Moore and even those that came before him, what they did was to start writing their own rules. And because Liberia is a very corrupt country, they go to public procurement and say, yeah, we want permission of single to sole source. There is nowhere even in the act that says single source. The correct expression is sole source. Sole source is what is there, not single source, right? So, but we can use that synonyms to say single source. What? So that's what they are doing, and they go and get even letter like a commitment to proceed. There is nothing in the procurement law that say you can write such a letter. There is provision for framework agreement where you can have framework agreement, so the provider, the service provider, will be assured that I have a framework agreement with this procuring entity that I can do. I'm assured to do certain things, but not to do what he's doing. That's a corruption, But the reason why PPCC can act, because Joe Bugger got hammer on their head. They are internal position too. If the executive director of the PPCC say, I'm going to enforce what the public minister wants to do is wrong, we can't grant them the permission, then the hammer may fall on their neck. They may chop it out and say, go, move from here, because he's in autonomous position. He was appointed by WIA, so they will let him go. That's part of the complication of moving, turning people. That process, and all happening within 100 days. You can see now they are actually setting a grandiose stage for a massive corruption that will surpass the CDC and surpass the record of the previous UP government. That is what the guys are setting up. Okay. Now, I want to speak a little bit about what is happening within 100 days under GAC. GAC, for the first time, GAC has become a political entity. Read a letter from the executive marshal to the GAC, ordering them to go audit the NSA. The GAC on her own could not write the president to say, honor the statute creating the NSA, the National Security Agency. No, they are exempt from this, because GAC has no record of auditing the NSA. They could not do that. It took President Bouaka to self-correct himself to say, okay, we're not carrying on our audit. That show for me, it brings into question the credibility of the Auditor General of the Republic of Liberia, including his deputies, because he's not ruling that he's not leading that entity alone. There is another communication where involving the LTA, where the GAC, the executive marshal wrote the GAC and requesting the GAC to prove their suspicion that there has been corruption at LTA, to prove them right. It's written in the communication. The GAC accepted that. I mean, you are basically instructing an entity because the GAC too is a autonomous position. That's why they're giving us such a clear carte blanche instruction that go there and prove us right, that the people at LTA are corrupt. There has been corruption. I'm not even saying this to suggest that the LTA is not a corrupt entity. The LTA is a very corrupt entity, just like many government ministries in Liberia, including the executive marshal. We call it executive mansion under President Salih, under President Weah, has never been audited. The legislature, the Senate under President Bouacar as vice president has never been audited from 2006 up to this present. So these are corrupt entities in Liberia. The judiciary, from 2006 up to this present, the judiciary has never been audited. Those are institutions in Liberia that resist the audit. Sometimes I find it laughable when the legislature is talking about commissioning audit of other entities, when they themselves have rejected it. When the vice president, Jeremiah Kuhn, then senator, appeared on Spoon Network, when Tomalin George were there, and he said, they asked you on audit. He said, why you coming audit? That my personal check, that my gas leak coming audit. Yes, they can audit gas leak, Mr. Vice President. They can audit even how you hire people. Yeah, they start working with you. You choose it, but they can audit the process. Were they chosen through the right procedure? Or did you just go and make deal with them and say, can't do that? What did you offer them letter? Does the letter of employment spell out their duties, their salary? Does it say that to them? They can audit those things to see whether what you do in your office is transparent. So to say that my gas leak coming audit, and they were using that as a basis for resisting audit. This is the country we're talking about change. This country is a sick country. Like John Grunter wrote in 1953. John, I'm coming. John Grunter wrote in verse, I asked you about that, but you haven't bought it. John Grunter wrote in 1953 when he visited Liberia. He quoted the American ambassador in Monrovia at the time. The ambassador said, Liberia is a sick country. I hope that country will get well one day. It's in the book.
Okay.
The book.
Yeah, what else in the book? He talked about the Liberian.
He said the country in 1953. In 1953, American ambassador wrote, he said Liberia is a sick country. And he said, I hope it will get one day.
And then what else he said?
It's still sick. The country is still sick.
Meanwhile, look, guys, let me make it interesting. Everybody, we'll talk for 2 minutes, so we're gonna make it interesting. But guys, look, on a serious note, the 100 days, everybody have given their.
That's not a long time to talk.
Yeah, talks about the 100 days. Honestly, we'll talk a little bit. We'll open the phone for librarians to call and find out. They don't give their thoughts about the 100 days, whether they have impacted them or whatever the case.
But before we open the lines, I will say something to
you. Come here. 100 days is not like somebody said. 100 days is not a big deal, but it tells you that they have a parable to say the way your Christmas will look will tell you from the eve, and 100 days give you a shot how the 6 years gonna go. From what we have seen, if they have all been about this vindictive, people have been vindictive. That's all. We had problem with you before in the past. I was working somewhere and I left from there. I come back with that vendetta. That's what been happening, and it's not good for the country though. Look, the problem that brought Liberia to its knees in the Civil War because of these things, little things. I have a grudge against you. If people had this on me in the past, I held it against him, and when the minute I got opportunity, I went after him. That's what happened, and I'm afraid that we are trending in that direction if we're not careful. And I hope the President Bouacar will exercise wisdom and try to govern the country in the right direction, because he's proceeding very wrong. Honestly, I'm not impressed. I'm not happy about his leadership so far. I'm one of those who are hopeful. I said that. I argue with people. I said he won't bring family members in the government. He spoke about it. He had an interview and said 2017. He said he said if anybody who think if a member of his family will be working in his government, make a mistake. It will not happen.
He lied to the Liberian people. He appointed. Right now,
he taking his whenever his relative come, getting somebody, they put a person name there, person an envoy, person the next thing the person get ambassadorial title and so forth. A lot of things happening, and my fear is we're going to see more problems because
It's gonna get worse.
people are disrupting each other function, and
Accent.
you have that internal fighting going to happen, and that's my fear.
Yeah, but Tomalin, to you,
Let
Grace,
me know.
Grace, to take 10 seconds from you. Tomalin, here what you need to know here. There's some music in Liberia called Liberia Technique. You know that music?
No, sing it.
I like to dance to that music. Liberia Technique.
But
Okay?
sing it from here. Sing it here.
No, I can't sing. I say I like to dance to it.
Hey,
Liberia
man.
Technique, right? When Ellen Johnson Sally, go back and look and listen to Ellen Johnson Sally interview. She criticized President Trouble. She said one of Trouble's weaknesses was bringing his family into government, right? When she became president, or children, not just relatives, right? So, like your story there.
Yeah. Peabody, can you mute yourself? The sound. Well, I would like to before we open the lines for the people to call in. I would just like to say that I will list a number of reasons, and then I will grade Waka 100 days. I don't know whether you want to grade, but I will be grading it. So the civil servants did not get paid. He never spoke about it. He did not care. Like when civil servants, Waka don't give a hang about you. He did not mention it in his speech. He did not care whether they got money to pay their children's school fee or feed their homes. He did not care. He did not mention it. It didn't mean anything to him. His son already came out here and boasted about him getting houses and they buying cars, but he did not care about the people who were actually doing the job, which are the civil servants. So he did not mention it. They have not gotten paid. He never spoke about that in his speech. So his first 100 days was about buying jobs. All the people that are in the government, most of them pay for their positions. It's known. This is no secret to the Liberian people. Fighting for jobs, appointing people, withdrawing it, targeting the people that got tenure positions, taking the tenure positions away from them with all any reasons that were part of what he did within his 100 days. That's some of his failures. We never heard any substantial information on economic development, what he's going to do in the country for the Liberian people. We never heard nothing substantial from him when it came to that. So that's one of the failures. LEC still has not changed. In 100 days, he could have done something for LEC. Our family and friends in Liberia, they say they have to pay for LEC, then they got to get generator. They pay two different, like we hear now, we got different electricity companies that do our electricity and thing for our houses. Instead of you paying one bill, they're paying almost two bills, or they're paying two bills because they got to get a generator and then they got to pay for LEC just in case they go so they can put a generator on. This day and age should not be happening. You could have done something in your first 100 days concerning LEC. You choose to not do anything. So that's the failure. Assets recovery was a failure, a big bad failure after you decided not to appoint the right people or use the right entity to do assets recovery. You went and hire your own people because you wanted to get in jobs because they voted for you and they scream your name on social media and you went and hired them. But the asset recovery, as far as we're concerned, is a failure. Nothing has been done really. So we are not seeing anything from the beginning. It was just a wildfire when you put kerosene in the fire. Boom, everything just like, and then it just went down. So that was the failure right there. And Bwaka said to us that one of his statements that he said would be doing our talking on Facebook. Mr. President, I know you said we'll be doing our talking on Facebook. Okay, baby. Our talking on Facebook and social media. But you forgot to know that the same social media and Facebook that brought you to power. Henry Costa sat on the same social media here for many years, pushing your agenda. And there was the cause of getting the whole mess. I have nothing against Henry Costa. When I went to Liberia to do my charity work, Henry Costa was the only radio station that invited me to come for free. I went sat and they interviewed me and everything. Although he did not live up to his expectation, when he did not live up to when he told me, he promised me I was going to come to my program afterwards, he did not show up. But at least he gave me his radio station. I went there, he interviewed me, and he had me on air. I'm so grateful for that. But in the meanwhile, I was very disappointed when he pushed this paper agenda for almost 3 to 4 years and brought him to power. And then later on, last minute time, he removed himself for them. And that's why God made sure that fire got in the camp, because God knew that this government was not going to be good for the Liberian people. And I am not surprised of his followers and the people who opened their mouths on social media and they told the Liberian people to vote for him, that now they are withdrawing themselves, because Liberians, a failure is like default to them. They always, it's like default. They always say one thing, and then after it happened, and they kind of tell you, say, oh no, we didn't know this way, you didn't know that way. That's why when it's time to vote for a president, you have to make sure you do your due diligence to make sure the person will be able to deliver for the country. We don't follow sentiments like your father in the last election, because you wanted to be on the winning team. I got my good friend who always say, when you win on a winning team and you don't do anything after that, there is no action after that, it means that you never won, you fail. So you have failed in the first 100 days. And for that reason, I don't have no respect for the people that push Bwaka, because they knew this was going to happen. Some of them are my own friends. We had the conversation in the background. And I mean, people in high places now, they did not listen because they did not want to listen, because some of them were in there for their own or self or interest. They had problem with CDC government. They did not want our government, so they were not looking at the bigger picture or anything happening good in Liberia. They had their own mindset when it came to we are versus Waka, so they did what they had to do. And I understand that everybody has the right to make their decision, but they cannot come back here and tell us that they regret it, because they voted this, they made the government to win, and they will live up to it. The best thing they can do for us now is to come and debunk them and make sure they put out all the things that are going on that is not right for the Liberian people, expose it to the Liberian people, then they will say they'll be doing something. So as far as I'm concerned, that was it. That's it for me. So on the grade, before I come to the grading of Barker, as for AB Koma, I didn't expect anything good will come out of his leadership at the DEA. It's just a thing that I just felt that way. I was in a church program one time in New Jersey, and the reason why I felt that way, your family life has everything to do with you when you in a working space. People don't, well, you can't compare the man from a, no. The way you carry yourself will show how you deliver when it comes to servicing the people or serving in the people or regular in public service. So I was in a church and something happened concerning A.B. Kuma. I never even knew him, but I was just in shock when the pastor called for altar call, and his ex-wife went there and said, oh, I came to the altar call to tell your wife to move from behind my husband, A.B. Kuma. So for that day, he stuck in my hair, and I just felt that I don't think that he was going to be able to deliver for the country. And I do compare people's personal life with what they have to do with public service. That's who I am. Because if you're good in your home, you will be good abroad. Easy as that. So for me, Waka 100 days, I would grade him a 22%. A 22%. And the reason why I would get him the piece of 22 is because that at least he want to create some of the rules. I would get him the piece of 22. And what else? I don't even think any other thing, but I would just get him the 22. You know, they for the everything I said here today. And for him be able to stand up, he was able to create the rule. For him be able to stand up and give a speech with all 15 this time. So I will get him 22% for that. Thank you.
All right, let me say this.
So that's way.
Let me say this. I think we've said, everybody said it here. Liberia is just another mess. Unfortunately, the generation that are looking up to that government for change, for education, for healthcare, for hope in the family, it's not going to happen. It's just a cycle. We have one there, another group is in now. They are coming. It is their time, money, and this clique they have. That's their time to enjoy. You know, and we said this from the beginning. I knew that because of President Bouakar's age, I knew he couldn't do much in running that country. He couldn't do much to change the country. I knew that. From the very beginning, I knew that. That if President Bouakar was probably in his 60s, let me say 70, it was still, I would say, okay. But even listening to the speech today, you saw all the blurring speech. He couldn't even go far. And that's what I say. I'm not sure whether he's even able to lead, or is he making this decision, or people are just doing it on his behalf and telling him, "Oh, we'll do this," or "Papa will do the one." Okay, yeah, go ahead and do it. Papa will do the one. Yeah, go ahead and do it. But I don't see anything really substantial coming out of Liberia anytime soon. Maybe he will prove me wrong. But at this point, just from the initial stage, I mean, I was one of those who sat on this show and said, I'm not going to criticize them until the next 100 days. And I've just been very disappointed by what I've seen. I mean, very bad governance so far. Very bad. And I don't think why people are agreeing. There's nothing there to agree. There's nothing. Because everything he came up with has turned out to be a failure. You came up, blah, blah, asset recovery, the jumping in the street, taking people car, or even any kind of rape to do it, or any kind of thing from the Supreme Court. They're moving here. Oh, we'll order this person. Oh, when you listen, oh, we'll order this person. Now, all the ministry is on Facebook. That's what the ministry is. When one of the directors go and write, oh, this one was done. The other person, they are writing on Facebook. They spend more time writing and responding to people on Facebook than even doing the job. So I don't expect anything much to change. I think to be honest, he made President we look very good, very good. Because there's really nothing really has changed but to divide the country. The country is very divided now. You have a complete divided. The security, the education sector, everywhere is divided. So I don't see it much changing. Unfortunately, our brothers and sisters in Liberia, somebody said Liberian got Guinness Book of Record for voting for the wrong people. They are in the Guinness Book of Record for always making the same mistake and voting over for the wrong people, and that's exactly what happened. I don't see much going to come out of Liberia, but our man Alex Jones is here. So Alex, go ahead. I'll let you take over from there.
Well, first of all, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good, good. First of all, thank you guys for all the wishes for my man, birthday wishes. Today is my birthday. And so I want to thank all those who've been on Facebook and everywhere else. What I can say as far as what's going on, it's unfortunate. Yeah, I'm not happy that the government is failing. And I think I offer my policy to the administration and my help and my expertise. And I'm just a phone call away, wherever the need, that I can help and provide any consultation, I will do it because I want the country to succeed. Um, but it's just unfortunate that they just don't have the experienced people to, they have the zeal. I must give it to them. They want to do good. But, one of the things I've learned as being a consultant for over 10, almost 15 years with some of the largest corporations, right? And people in a system, they're kind of in a bubble where they're used to doing things a certain way and it's not working. They don't have the mindset to say, you know what, let's look outside, let's do something completely differently. So that's what's happening in Liberia. They center the government only on one philosophy, one idea, which is you have this powerful imperialist president that controls everything. You understand? There's no uh, division of power. The president has to appoint the superintendent, the mayors, the everything. Nothing goes right unless the president says okay. That kind of structure cannot work for rapid development. You know, uh, Even if Walker was a young man, all right, like myself or Dr. Monoba, anybody, you're gonna have to delegate. You have to find an economic czar to run the economy. You got to find someone who is good at um, development to run the development aspect. In most countries, that's why they have a prime minister. The president is just a ceremony. You go to Senegal, you go to UK, you go to India, you go to many parts of the world. I don't know why we're still adopting this US broken system. The US system is broken. The only reason why it's surviving is because they still are the world reserve currency. That's all. But with their debts and everything, the president, there's too many things, too many ceremonial things that he does not have the time to plan and execute and even recruit. The thousands of jobs that he has to appoint, the president has not even done that. He has not even appointed half of the people that the president needs to appoint. So when I came earlier on, okay, immediately after the election, and I said that this government would be a failure, that this Barker administration would be no better or even worse, okay, the tone that is set from the beginning and the caliber of people, when you're hiring people like Mandela Kopa as political advisor, then you ready something really wrong with your brain. Okay, something really wrong with your brain. When you're hiring somebody like Burma Kamara as your finance minister, then you have no clue of what modern economics and finance is. So when I saw those things, you understand, it was clear to me to say, you know what, this is a lost cause. There's nobody in this government that even truly understand basic economics. You're running a huge deficit right now. You're running the budget itself. You can't generate the money to pay for the budget. Okay, you coming out to talk about road construction when you have not even formed your cabinet. Before you even get your minister of public works, you're talking about your fixed road in 90 days. You haven't even done an assessment. Okay, I have both an engineering and a finance degree. That's something that you have to sit down with experts, plan, and then come up as a leader and say, okay, this is what we can do, this is what we cannot do. But when I heard Bogart coming up, the asset recovery stuff, you haven't even formed your cabinet, and you're talking about going after people. Those were all irresponsible leadership. Very irresponsible leadership. So for you guys, like I hope I can tell you guys, you'll be disappointed. Liberia economy will be one of the worst in the next 2 to 3 years. Because one, the exchange rate is going to get worse, it's going to worsen. The debt is going to worsen. Then the cutting, then the little people that are getting little government income. When President George Weah decided to put a lot of people on the payroll, it was not a bad decision. The reason it's not a bad decision is, do you rather people in the street going to arm, rob, and steal and beg, or do you rather the person get at least some kind of pay? That's your brother and sister, whether you like it or not, whether it's for CDC or not. If a level one, put as many people on the payroll. Because why should representatives and senators and government officials be making $15,000 a month, $7,000 a month? Then somebody who's making $250 a month, you're angry they shouldn't get a job. What sense does that make? So for left to my one, you go to Norway, you go to Japan, you go to other country. That's what you call social welfare. Give people jobs, even if they're not qualified in an area. Get programs where they can be learning and they be getting some pay. That will boost the economy. But they came out, no, we're gonna get everybody off the payroll. This person, a CDC person. Then you go to the tenure position. You haven't hired the people you need to hire, then you're running behind positions, the tenure position, fighting in court. So those are things that I don't know where management school President Joseph Boga went to. But that's not how you do things in a managerial standpoint. You try to control the things you can control first, which is appoint all your people first, the counties, the wherever. Then appoint, delegate certain responsibilities. So today, somebody was saying, you were just saying earlier, everybody on face was scattered. You don't have no direction. You don't know who is responsible for the economy, who's responsible for security. But the fighting with the LDA, the police director, one place, everybody. You don't have any coordination. That's just poor management. And unfortunately, Liberian people will have to live through this. So next time around, they can have some sense to, evaluate and not go on popularity and not go on, oh, the other person got money, oh, the other person being government. See the person plan, interviewed. And one of my series before I will close on this point. One of the things that has to change in Liberia before any development can come is our media. We have one of the worst media in the history of Africa. The media does not have, they can't even read a fitting article before I say editorial. And the media controls what the people hear. The media controls who the people select. So when you have a race of 20 people and you only hear 3 names, that's because the media have already cahooted for the 3 people. You know, I came out and said the media were corrupt, the small TV were corrupt. Was it not proven that Senator Wilson was giving money to boycott? What kind of corruption is that? Is that the kind of people you want to run your country? Is that the kind of president you want that taking money from the media in order to win election? So let me real. There are plenty qualified people in Liberia, especially the young people. There are plenty. You don't have to support Alex Jones, but there's a lot of young people that are well qualified. They have integrity. They have experience. Leave this old politician where you found them. Leave them alone. Retire this old politician to move Liberia forward. And I'll stop there. Thank you, guys.
Okay, yeah, guys. While we
So,
meantime, let me say, guys, our viewers, please help support our Cash App. We really want to. We got a lot of news. News coming on the next few days, next few weeks will be interesting. Want to stay alive. Please support the TCA Cash App to keep us alive, because I'm sure next week we have a lot of interesting news. Don't forget, the president is coming to the States. We'll be tracking his movement in the States. Wherever he's
closing argument.
We'll be tracking the president movement. And know what will happen. I'm sure he's going to take some actions on Friday. We want to make sure we're here Friday to bring it, to talk about it too. So let us please support our Cash App. We really want to stay alive. It's not easy to keep this show going. I want to appeal to all those who help watch our show to please chip in and let us keep it alive. But while we're at that, let us say that, look, this issue about Herman, you guys get ready to take some calls, right? Herman Jala, get ready to take some calls for us. But yeah, Kerabo, go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something quickly in response to just add to Alex argument. You know, there's something that started happening in Liberia under Ellen Johnson's Sally. They have what you call the cash transfer program, right? Implemented by, I believe, the Ministry of Gender. I think the Women and Children Protection, something. But it was the Ministry of Gender. So they selected, because they did poverty index or survey. They identified Bomi County as one of the most poorest county in Liberia. So they started the social cash transfer program there. And even though it's not government money, that money was basically donor supported. But if you look around the world, Sweden is one of the countries that are implementing the universal, how they call that, basic income principle. I think Liberia should be one of the countries to really do it. Because if you look at the level of corruption in the country, so just pick on Alex's argument here, where you see, I can name very few guys here on my one hand. Ellen Snow, Alice Tyler, Jeremiah Kuhn, Sir Joseph. Maybe Sir Joseph can be questionable here, but Thomas Fowler, the list go on. Robert Seli, these folks who came in government and became wealthy in government. If you put that combined income together and you can implement basic income principle for Liberia and say, okay, we're not going to get the money to everybody, but every student that graduates from high school, young people, or some age group, we're going to give them even $50 every month. That $50, they're going to use it to go maybe get some hospital service or buy food so they're going to spend it in the economy. They're not going to take that $50 and send it abroad. So that will also help to kind of turn the engine of the economy. I think it's an argument, it's an issue to debate in our country, whether we need actually basic income principle that we can target certain segment of the population to give them even $50 every month. Because these people, corruption, because when you steal money from one group, you are actually depriving millions of other groups. So those who have been stealing, they have been depriving millions of other Liberians. So we need to force the government to start to give some basic income to some people so they can survive. Because many people are dying because they suffer from income poverty. They don't have money. to even buy malaria tablet. You know.
They could start the welfare system as well, and in a certain fashion to see how it benefits Liberians, especially for the older people and single mothers. But I wanted to say something that Mr. Jones, I wanted to stress on something that he said. Also, the media is very corrupt. I never knew that how corrupt the media was until when I was part
Media
of this
is very
campaign.
corrupt in Liberia.
Very,
I
very
agree.
corrupt. Some media entity, I mean, substantial and very, very renowned media entity in the Liberian setting, because the renown is not for the world. In the Liberian setting, some candidates that were in different, some standard bearers from different parties were paying these media to make sure that they don't carry the other standard bearer information on
Yep.
their platform. They made sure they pay that we don't want you to call the man need. Alex Need should not be called in your newspaper. It shouldn't be called on your radio station. Don't mention anything about him. They pay good money to the media entities. And all these things are killing the core of the Liberia, the fabric of our nation. Because if the media cannot report fairly, at least a little bit fairly, then where are we going? And that's the reason why they were able to sub Joseph Boakai the way they saw him. Now the people bought him and then they're complaining now. And that's the thing. And for the government supposed to start the country running, especially for Liberia. If the government have put in place with all the media entities, there's certain information and certain policies there, you cannot do certain things. When we find you, when you are found doing these things, then we'll find your entity. All these things are supposed to be put in place. But can Boakai do it? No. The papa is 80 years old. He don't have innovative leaders around him, the young minds, to be able to help him to execute these things. You take a woman like Majala Cooper, and I love women to be in power. I love them to be shining, especially when it comes to government. I love them to be a part, and because I think women bring a lot to the table. But it's not all women. It's not all. So you have to get certain point. Majala Cooper inserted herself in the rescue mission last minute of time. She made sure she inserted herself so deeply that the president even took her to be advisor. So what experience do this woman have to be able to advise the whole president of a nation? She inserted herself so deeply there with the man and his wife until they were even able to give her husband a position, or foreign or national, or position in our government, where they have people in our country that could serve in that position and represent Liberia, speaking like ourselves. You see, and that's why we just know that Joseph Boakai, when people say he's not in control, Ben he was saying, oh yeah, Joseph Boakai in control. We're not meaning that Joseph Boakai is not actually in control, but he has been dictator. The people tell him what to do. They tell him, oh, that's supposed to happen. Jahar, you saw John Lobo talking here during the campaign. You need to say this, say that, say that. That Jahar they tell him, and he just come out and do what he told to do, because he is an older man. And right now, he just want to be sleeping and drinking cold water and having fun with his grandchildren. And like grandpas refuse to allow him to do that. So this is what we got. And you can go ahead now, Henry.
Henry, got the calls coming in. Put the numbers up and put the call, Karen.
And until we get calls, let me just.
Go on, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, you go out with that. Turn
Huh?
off your mic.
I wanted to make a point before. If somebody on now.
Just before we take you there, I kept it along. So let's call her. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, Henry and to the madam listener in Radio Land.
Your name from where you join us?
I'm Olano Islamo, calling from Duburo to be precise.
Okay, well, I guess you've been following a conversation.
Quickly before I make my point, and I want to correct that the NCO, I think it's now politics for.
My name is Grace. Point of correction, my name is Grace.
Yes. So what I'm saying, let me end. I want to correct in the sense that we got it or not. Joseph Ambassador Baka is the president of this country. So
Okay.
even if you're addressing him, what I have to say, you have to say, you just go in like that, when to tell Baka is that. That's one. To my point.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
The Tema is fighting the show. He's not in studio, but he's fighting the show. So go ahead.
So when I got issue with the Tema, so I need to be on the more there, I can count the show. Thank you.
Why the issue get with the Tema?
So let it tell me tomorrow, I read reflect it.
But the Tema fighting the show, you can go ahead. You get put on the Tema, you can. So that's it. So placing your call to 0. Oh my word, the call line is very, very active. Let's call 0. So 077 72 85 961 077 72 85 961 is
confirm the NSA boss.
Not answer you. You got a hotline.
Defense, right?
077 72. So let's call. Hello.
What you say?
Your name and why you join us?
Call on now.
Hello.
Because it's not low, very low.
You guys get in?
No.
No. The call is keep coming in back and forth. So let's do some technical adjustment. So let's call. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
You guys get in?
Yeah.
Your name from where you join us?
My name is Babu Johnson. Cleaning up community.
From now, para comunidade, so clean.
Yeah.
You guys get in?
It's very bad.
Hello.
Hey, what happened to your phone, man?
Oh my word. Damn, it's
Are they weather?
Hello. Let's call.
I'll be like bro next month. I'll try to see what we can see, but I'll phone better, man.
Hello.
When you start talking about trip, you put the program aside. We can't talk.
Hello.
We're around quietly. Nobody knows that.
We'll be waiting for you to that airport.
Your name from where you
in out.
But you already announced it.
Yeah, but they won't know which they are coming.
Why, Andrew?
Yeah. So the country is that all the people in general tech. So the government is telling me. I thought that is program over here.
Okay. The country name we are hearing is Technique.
Yeah, that is program over here. Oh.
Yes, and this government is Technique.
Aaron,
Right?
I'm gonna come and rest in my bureau.
Okay, thank you so much, Andrew. That's it. To this caller. Hello. How are you? Anything white George? Right, you have to be audible. Go ahead. 1 minute.
I just want to tell the guys thank you for another dedication. But my concern here is that I want for the lot of people for your parents.
How many million? Okay, thank you so very much. 07772859610 07772859610 is the motor call. 077 070-7285-961. To this caller, hello. And even why you join us? The name again?
We can hear them.
Okay, Vida from Banjo.
Our lawmakers to be the ones to checkmate the president. But yeah, I don't think in my mind they are ready to checkmate the president. Because of the decision that he has made for the last 3 months, they are not even able to elaborate citizen. Because he said, I can remember a first interview after he announced president-elect, he said he want to review it, and he want to elaborate and solve those issues that have to do with the bread and butter, meaning the common people, these are our common survival. When you are not looking at those things, you are making decisions that push the citizen against him. So, the situation thank you.
Thank you so very, very much. 077-7285-961. 077-7285-961 is the number to call. 077-7285-961. So let's call. Hello. And even why you join us? Quiet. 1 minute.
Can you hear them say?
Yeah, somebody, I think
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
questions.
maybe,
Not hearing him.
yeah.
Yeah, we can hear them.
Aaron,
All right, but Tomalin, let me just acknowledge a few folks who've been giving to help us before we move forward. Let me say a special thanks to Patient Green for a donation, $100. Alvin Logan, $75. Thank you, Sarah Dopu, $30. Winifred, $25. Mulba Kali, $30. God, thank you for your contribution. And the Cash App, the Zelle is there. If you want to help us continue, keep this
so
going.
keep
You
us on
ask
the
why we
radio.
come on late sometime or why we're not coming on every day. That's some of the problem. It's expensive to do it every day. So we encourage you to be a supporter as well, as we move on. So there's a cell there as well. You can put the cell in and be able to make that contribution.
And
But,
I can say, Dr. Peabody, I can say clearly to the Liberian people, this is becoming one of the most fair and balanced network. The front page Africa is very corrupt. The data is very corrupt. The Spoon is very corrupt. The SKTV is very corrupt. The Focus on Liberia is very corrupt. And I can challenge any one of them to come on any show, and I will lay out why I'm saying they're corrupt. Like you were saying about the front page Africa. I used to write articles for them. Wrote published many articles from page. When what his name the guy started working with Alex Cummings, he shut everybody off.
Yeah.
What is it? I personally texted him and I said, listen, you are ruining your reputation for Alex Cummings, who is not going to win. I can sit down here in America and win more votes than Alex Cummings in Liberia. I'm not kidding you.
I don't think Ronnie would do that, man. I don't think so.
I'm serious about it. I have no supporters in Liberia. You can do a poll. You can do a poll right now in Liberia on your station, and you can ask people that call in, me or Alex Cummings, and I will tell you, unless you squeal towards his few handful of people, I will have more support than him. I challenge you.
The media is corrupt. Period.
I mean,
that's why he has to buy. That's why he has to buy a station. That's why he got to pay Rodney C. That's why he got to do. I don't have to pay for any. I never pay for any publicity in Liberia. The people that who support me or some of the other candidates, they are doing it because they've heard us, they read our stuff, and they know that we can do a better job for our country. So we don't have to buy votes. We don't have
Let
to
me
buy support.
let me progress. Let me
They
progress.
were
In fact, I challenge you.
I don't believe that,
In
man.
fact,
I will say this though.
okay.
I will say this.
And
1 minute.
Front page
Why you don't
remains
use it? Why?
remains
Because you're
one of the
friend?
leading people in the country that people respect both in and out of the country. I tell you that. Front page, I mean, I respect them. I hold them in high esteem. Their publications come all over the even Washington. They pull
because there's no alternative. That's why.
I won't say SK TV. They're not corrupt. These guys do their best to come up with it.
Oh, come on, Tomalin. SKTV, that comments media entity right there. These people are all.
Well, I made progress.
When
No cost coming.
Who's just trying to say if you cannot be balanced on your reporting,
Correct.
then something is wrong. You have to be balanced on your reporting as a journalist. It's in
Correct.
journalism. Communications 313, they tell you have to be balanced in your communication. You cannot.
Correct.
For you to be biased as a journalist, you destroy the core of the country. And
No,
I'm
but-
not saying I don't have proof of anything. But
Okay, show me one.
people
Okay.
in the campaign I noticed that were happening because I don't care how much money people wanted to pay. Once they got to a certain newspaper, they would not allow you to
Correct.
post anything about another candidate in that newspaper. And I just said,
While we're talking about the 100, let me say something. When it comes to politics, even in America, here, you're seeing it. This is what people raise money for. If you want you want to promote your candidate through the media, you pay for it. They're not free.
That's correct. That's different. That is different.
No.
What you are,
No.
you cannot
No, but I can tell you, front page will
Yeah.
not you won't pay you will not ask front page to carry your story and they will deny you. They will not do that.
No, but front page. Here's what Chris saying, Tomalin. All right. If you are writing negative story, show me one negative story front page Africa has written on Alice Cummings. Show me one negative story.
Front page is very balanced, man.
That's what I'm saying. I'm giving the challenge. That's what I'm saying. I'm very objective. I'm giving you guys a challenge. Show me one article where front page criticize Alice Cummings. Because I can show you all the articles where they criticize George Weah, they criticize Boyka, they criticize everybody. I personally have received texts with communication between Alice Cummings and Rodney C. And if you challenge me, I will put it up.
You should put it
There's
up.
personal text. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking.
Front
I know
page
front page is one of the best. It's like Europe's best.
They don't compromise. They will
No,
bring the story up.
You're not understanding.
Timberlake, they don't understand what journalism means. Journalism means if your news media, nobody's saying that a candidate cannot purchase airtime.
Okay.
A candidate can purchase airtime.
Yeah.
But when you're writing a story on the election, right? As a news media, you should be balanced in giving everybody talking about all the candidates. You cannot select one candidate. Hold on. You cannot select one candidate because one candidate pay you and say, okay, Alice Cummings is one of the most, a corporate person. Alice Cummings policy is this, and then you're not seeing anything about the other candidates. That is biasness and corruption. So that's completely different from running your business side where people purchase ads.
I disagree, man.
Or program.
Yeah,
I disagree. I think front page means the best.
Front page the best. I wouldn't high esteem. Trust me.
Yeah.
Well, keep following that. You can keep reading there. You can basically let your children. They can keep your children if you like, but I don't trust them. And I'm telling you from my own experience. How many times did they even mention Dr. Carlos Monesma? Did they ever post any of his policy? No.
But when but Alex Jones, I will repeat again. When it comes to politics, if you want coverage, you pay for your coverage.
No, you can't buy story.
No,
they don't understand it. In America, when CNN is covering the story,
raise money.
listen. When CNN is covering the election,
It's another
See,
thing for them to tell you, say they can't carry your opportunity because they are being bought by another candidate. I don't care how much money you pay, they will not publish your stuff. Let's just be fair here.
No,
If
man,
we
great.
want
Don't
like
do
we want
that.
to
Don't say
choose
about front
somebody,
Africa. Front
if
don't
we
do that.
want like we want to choose,
But
we
I
cannot do
Trump
our own.
is Trump remain
cannot
like
do-
Liberia #1 print media, the
Yeah,
best.
okay,
I'll tell you the truth.
They balance.
Award winning.
Jack Tucker.
They are the best. Let's get back to the topic. But they are the best.
Okay.
They are award winning media institution. Run the shit.
One-sided
Because the
reporting.
investigative writing,
One-sided
you have won
Meanwhile,
several
we
awards. And
expect.
I
Meanwhile,
promise.
back to the
You,
discussion.
you can go. We can have a conversation on the fairness of the media on another day, and you can bring the front page people there so we can make our case against them. If this is a closing argument, this is a closing argument. You're saying they're not biased. You're saying they're objective. I'm saying they're not. We'll bring it to the public and let the public make up their mind for themselves.
So
You see, Alex, let me tell you
back to the
something.
trending news. Okay.
We don't see friendship in things that we do. We know that most time, maybe if you're having friendship with people, then you can say when something is wrong, it's wrong. None of y'all here will know what they see more than me. I know Rodney when he did not even have Front Page Africa. We saw that in place when he used to type by himself, trying to create Front Page Africa. I love him like my brother, but when something is wrong, I'm a typical Liberian woman will tell you, say it's wrong at that point in time. That one I can give it to Liberian woman. When something is wrong, she will tell you it's wrong. During the election, we were progress, but during the election, I thought that newspaper was freaking biased. And I stand by my word.
I think
they will not
me,
allow other candidates to put their thing in the newspaper. I don't care, you can pay $1,000 because Alexander Cummings bought that newspaper not to carry anybody thing. And he still did not win election. Like
I don't know.
He can win 2%.
Great. I mean, it's an independent view here.
Okay.
I believe
what about Spoon?
They are one of the best.
When it comes to reporting, I bet they're the best when they write good journals, they write good articles and everything. But they are not the best when it comes to being
fair. They are the best when it comes to reporting in the media.
All right. What about Spoon? Spoon is the largest radio station and TV in Liberia. Because it's the largest, does that mean that they're not biased and corrupt?
No, but
everybody have their bias.
Let me address
No. Because you are looking at Front Page is the largest print media, so that means they're not corrupt and biased.
Now, let me say this.
I think Front Page is free.
Go back on our topic. Let me say this. When it comes to Spoon, let me be frank, right? See, like Brent people, they're hypocrites. Most of them are hypocrites. The people you see today that are supporting Spoon, they used to say the worst thing was sent on us. So, the very people that are sitting on our platform today, if we show you message what it said,
I know.
I come in now, but because at the time it just says Spoon was sponsored by CDC. It just says for defending George Weah. I would say all the time. But by the many things change, they all join. But you see what happened? The people you see them, some of them today, they said the West they insulted. We got the messages.
I know.
I got a lot of text messages.
At the end of the day, the hypocrisy. Okay.
Exactly.
I'll tell you this, but I'll tell you the fact again. If you notice in Liberia, whenever there's a foreign guest coming in that country, whether U.S. government or any foreign guest, who we think our call for interview from Africa, they our call them
because they are the largest. They are the largest.
Apart from that, they are all largest platforms. But they are very unbiased. They are unbiased in their reporting.
Objective. Yes.
They are now objective. They are not.
Let me progress.
Okay, let's make progress.
We expect the president to be leaving the country on Friday. I think he's traveling to the States for the African Business Summit in Dallas, Texas, and from May 5th to the 9th. And then I think he will be, if I'm not mistaken, I heard his granddaughter's graduation he attended, and then maybe whatever was on the agenda. But before he leaves the country, information has come to us say that he will sign the national budget, that the $738.8 million national budget will be signed into law by the president, and we expecting him issue an executive order formally on the War Economic Crimes Code. And many people will not be happy because there was an amendment made to that document, and given the time frame we'll be looking at. So looking forward to that, and some of the people that supported his rescue mission, they will be caught up in that dragnet. So look forward to that. But we always pray that indeed he finally put his signature on that document, so that Liberian can now see a glimmer of hope that for those who committed the greatest crime in our country should be able to at least have the day in court. It's not fair if we want to make lasting peace in our country for those who committed the most heinous crimes to walk away scot-free. Economic crimes too. And I'm told that they will start from 1979. So that means 79, the various government people, the administration that came afterwards, including the last administration of the administration, will all be part of that stuff. We'll see what happens. We'll see the president resolve. We'll see whether he really up to the task. He really means business. But we will not rest. We'll keep the pressure. We want to see that code established. We want to see that people face justice for the crimes they committed. It's very seriously. And then too, I was also informed today that by June, the first 6 months, I'm told that from what I will gather this evening, the reaction to the president's 100-day speech within their own cycle, they're not happy with it. The public, they found the public was not impressed with it. They got a backlash. Because of that, there are a lot of grumblings among he and his folks. So now he's issuing, telling them that if they don't buckle up by June, he'll have to throw his axe down. And then if not, December, his first year in office, whatever the case. So we'll keep the pressure on them. Keep the pressure on them because we all know that if the president have performed well, very well, we'll be praising him. We'll praise him. Oh yeah, if Bugger had appointed a serious person to the asset recovery, serious people on our committee, and to do a good job, I'll be praising him. If Bugger had appointed serious, he have not the way he conducted himself with the whole tenure position is wrong. The Supreme Court, Supreme Court, everybody getting concerned because, like I heard tonight, they say, "Oh, what the Supreme Court allowed this to happen? They gave the tenure officials victory, and in less than 24 hours, the president acted because the president, after the Supreme Court acted on Monday, he gave a speech. He gave a statement. He welcomed the Supreme Court decision and said he supported. But then the president would not be so brave to say, well, the highest court in the land have issued their opinion, and I will come right after that and say, exactly what they told him in the ruling. They said, immediately withdraw those you nominated. The president, within the last 24 hours, he renominated the very people and called to act as commissioners. And what happened the next day? They all went to LTA, went there, and the very day he did it, they sent police there to stop the people from to check the people documents and all kind of stuff, to order court order, and then after the next day, all of them went there again. They show up to the offices and they started the function. And they are not even being confirmed. We'll look forward to the Liberian Senate to see what it will do. We'll see this whether the Senate really has a tool, really have teeth in their mouth to really confirm these folks, or they will continue to act. We won't see all of these things that will take place in the next few weeks and months. But that's the situation we find ourselves in. And so let us continue to keep pressure, continue to talk about the issues that matter to the people of Liberia. When you call Liberia, all of us here, I think beside Henry, who live in the States, I know every day you get family members, friends asking you for help. And it tells you that they have increased. Nobody increased. That's why just now, as soon as I said I'll be in Liberia next month, I'm getting text messages from people that comrade will be to the airport waiting for you. And so I would just quietly go in the country.
I'm sure Vami's cell phone will be among the message.
Of course. People asking for laptop, asking for cell phone.
Working cell phone.
So yeah, but my visit to Liberia is a private visit. Now it's not no politics. I'm going there for a family event. From there, I will go in interior. I'll be there until I leave the country. I'll be in interior. I leave the country, but so I will not be there for any politicking and so forth. I'll miss. So that's it. But look, Kelebo, that's the situation we find ourselves in. What you make up the president coming to the States for the African Business Summit, and another thing again, but 100 days. For the first time I've noticed in our country's history, where a newly elected president did not attend the African Union Summit. That's the summit that of all heads of state of Africa, he He did not attend that summit. The ECOWAS summit did not attend it. Because that's where you go to the African summit, UN summit, formerly the OAU, they announce you, they welcome a new president of Liberia, but where all the African heads of state will greet you and welcome you in that body. President Bouacar did not attend that summit. Then he went to the ECOWAS scheme. He did not attend the ECOWAS summit, but he's coming to America. Okay, and I don't know, but we look forward to the president attending. I'm sure in September he'll be back here for the UN General Assembly. I'm sure he'll be here for the UN General Assembly in September. Let's see what happens, but I think he should have attended at least the African Union Summit and the ECOWAS Summit of Heads of State for the first time as president of Liberia. But what are your thoughts, guys?
Go ahead. Okay, I can start if you like. Let me go first to the War and Economics Crimes Code. I welcome it. I've been a big proponent with it going back to Savage days. Shout out to Emmanuel Savage. I think he's a hero he and Fredia, Jerome. Going back. So I welcome it. However, I will say this much: I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, you have a president, sitting president, okay, that a Supreme Court rule against, and he ignores it, the Supreme Court. Is that a sitting president you expect to uphold the rule or law when it comes to carrying justice for people, when he does not even respect the ruling of the high court? That's the question I'll put to any intellectual person. Any other person, the court rule against you. Let it go. But on the one hand, you stand up for law and order. You stand up for justice. You respect the law. You're accusing people, like on the field, all the people don't respect law and order. This is the highest court in the country. Who gave you that advice to say that you got to use other executive powers and reappoint people? Let it go. You lost the case in the highest court. Move on. So based on this president's behavior towards the court ruling, towards how he ignore the fact of the law in terms of asset recovery, all right, it tells me that he's not the right president for which we can get true justice for War and Economics Crimes Court. Because what he's going to do is he's going to try to protect those people that are with the Unity Party. He's going to protect his friends. You see how when he came with the asset and said, we're not going to go back to the early administration. That's so it's a blatant, you have to see these things coming. So I don't have any faith and any hope that President Joseph Bouacar, is a man of the law, a man of his word that stand up for justice. All this is just a political charade, and we'll come back here again 6 months from now. Just the way how we came back here 100 days earlier, and I told you this man was going to be a failure. 100 days, nothing going to happen. Petrol prices going to go up, gas prices. So take my word for it again. 6 months from now, they will still be passing around there. There will be no real justice for the Liberian people. And the only way I see forward is, number one, President Bouacar needs to retire. On the issue of the U.S., I agree with you, Tomalin, that you can't respect the Americans and respect the white man more than you respect your own African brothers and sisters. The African Union Conference is one that is a very important gathering of all the leaders in Africa. If you can boycott that, all right, and come to America Business Forum, that you're going to spend more money, travel further, what I said to your African colleagues, what I said to your West African colleagues, who you depend on for border protection, the minor river, the ECOWAS, the passport, all those things. Again, it goes back to this president level of incompetence or incapacitation. You can say we can sugarcoat it, we can carry and use all the fine, fancy words. The fact is, President Bouacar is incapacitated to run Liberia. And therefore, you have his handlers, half of them incapable, that are there telling him what to do. If you're not fit to go to African conferences, then you're not fit to be president. It's part of your job to represent your country at the regional and the international level. So on that point, and lastly, I would say when it comes to um, the 100 days, obviously we know it's a flop. But I wanted to make one last point, Timothy. We're talking about this cash transfer, and I think, what his name, Kalabu was mentioning it. I just sent you my platform proposal. I was the only candidate that said that we should give $50 to $100 to students who don't have jobs, unemployed, and the elderly. You reading it down directly from the government. I said if I was elected president, that was going to be the first thing I was going to do. Cut the government high official salary, and I was going to save between $100 to $200 million, and there were going to be immediate cash transfer to those who are unemployed, the elderly, and of course our disability brothers and sisters. So when we're talking this thing, how many news? I was on most of the stations. I wrote articles. Where news in Liberia pick up, even if you didn't like me, even if you thought that you would not support me, would you not take us something like that and put it in the press so that whoever becomes president can implement it? But to tell you how diabolical these news medias are, that even when there's something good for the government, they will bury it because simply Dada Ellis Cummings said it, or President Joshua said it. That will help Liberian economy because you give me somebody who's not working $50 a month. At least they can spend that money in the economy. That will raise the GDP. That will have no circulation of the money. It's simple economics. They do it here. You have stimulus checks. They do it in Europe and so forth. So I just want to make that point. So when you hear it coming on now for our quote unquote, politician, Alex Jones was the only one in this election that had it written down on his platform that he will give direct cash transfer to the elderly, the poor, and the unemployed. Thank you.
Let me just in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
How you plan to, just 30 seconds, please. How you plan to pay for it?
I said I will cut all government salary beginning with the executive. Nobody will make more than $3,000 a month, including the president. And that would be where I would save between $100 and $200 million. And I would set up 30 corporations to employ people. And the rest of the money will go to direct cash transfer. That's how it would be paid for. Or adding any debt to the national economy. And it's in there.
Tomalin, we said this over and over, and I just want to buttress what Alex said a few minutes ago. Alex said from the nation that the government will be a failure. You saw when there was a report that the president went to Ghana to meet with the president of Ghana. The president of Ghana was already in Europe. And then they said, no, the president met with the vice president. When they couldn't produce picture, they said it was a Zoom call. And it started with that kind of stir. I mean, I don't think the president, I don't know. As I said, I don't know whether VP Boycott makes his own decision on whether some of the things that is happening. Why would the president not go to the AU summit? Why the president will not go to the ECOWAS summit right here in your notes? Why he would not go to the those meetings and things like that? So it shows, I don't know, is it restriction? I don't want to say health-wise, I don't want to go there, but is it restriction on where he can fly and where he can fly? Because he can get on a plane to come to the U.S. What more about going to Ethiopia or going to right here in Nigeria? The camping time he flew to Nigeria to hustle, went to Ghana, other places. So it's really sad. I mean, I said it from the beginning. I think President Boycott is a great person, but I don't think at this point, in his age, he really can deal with what's going on in Liberia. At this point, I don't think he can do it. I mean, let's be realistic here. I wonder, with the utmost respect for the president, but I just think based on his age and his health, the ability to really do certain things will be difficult. It'll be limited, and I think that's what we are seeing now. Because you said that you're going to ensure that the law is in place. You issue a statement that they welcome the Supreme Court ruling. and then go back and do the same thing. But the fact that is, like people as you said, it's just a vlog country. Because the fact the same Supreme Court who said that those people they should withdraw the names, the people went back to them and they said no, we're not going to take up the case again. So the whole thing. I mean, I'm not a legal expert, but I think it's nonsense. Yes, the law that you just passed, somebody violated it. It will come back to you. You who made the decision say that we should go back to the job, those people should be withdrawn, and we come back to you, and then you say, no, you can't take up the case. I mean, the country is a block. Even with the legal system, it's a block. It's probably something that was made up, or we're just going to pass judgment, and then you can fire them when they come back. We'll say no, it was pre-planned. The whole thing is
Hmm.
a show that are pre-planned. Yeah.
Right. The Peabody, that's welcome to Liberia 101. Um,
That's true.
there's a Canadian investor who came to Liberia and he actually invested, more than $10 million into Liberia mining sector. Trying to seal his deal, the Ministry of Lands, Mines, and Energy and some powerful people in the executive mansion decided that they will give the concession to, I think, Liberty. There's, I think, Aurora mining, Cayman. There's mechanized gold mining that taking place in the Cayman area. That area was actually explored by a Canadian businessman. He invested, documented everything, listed his company on Canadian Stock Exchange. To sue the MDA now, the men who were there took money from another new company, came with millions of dollars, bribed them, and they shoved the Canadian man out. They said, no, we'll not deal with you. And they went ahead and signed a new agreement. Councillor Gongo was a lawyer for the man. The man sued the government of Liberia. They won in that court $10 million against the government of Liberia. They went to the Supreme Court. In the ruling of the Supreme Court, open ruling, the Supreme Court agreed with the lower court decision that the government of Liberia defaulted and therefore must pay the Canadian man $10 million. But the very Supreme Court under Justice Francis Copper, that ruling in written form, it never came out. So the company and Councillor Gonglo could not lay hand on the Supreme Court ruling up to today's date. That's a country you call Liberia. That's why the American ambassador in 1956 said, this country is sick. It may get war one day. Well, ambassador is still sick. It ain't get war yet. So the only thing I can say, I would not agree with my brother Alex Jones to say President Bouaga is incapacitated. What I can say, though, is I think President Bouaga has not demonstrated the courage. Because leadership is not just about electing people. It's not just about having people follow you. It's about having the courage to lead, to even make difficult decisions. Leaders are people who are principle-minded. Leaders are people who don't bend their principle because they want to satisfy their followers. No. Followers change their position in order to follow their leaders. Anyone who starts to change their philosophy, their principle, in order to satisfy their followers, those are politicians. Politicians are not leaders. Because you are elected, it does not mean that you are a leader. Politicians are not leaders because politicians generally change their principles in order to get votes. Leaders do not change their principle. Leaders change society. That's what leaders do. So I would like to see President Bouaga demonstrate more courage on the economic crimes code issue. I have some concern. The concern I have has to do with the same way the president constituted the asset recovery uh, uh, committee. He put social political wannabes, hitmen on the committee, basically to do what he wants them to do. If This is a shadow of how the Economic Crimes Code might be constituted. Then I agree with Alex Jones that nothing will happen. Then I will agree with Peabody and others to say nothing will happen. But if you go back to the Liberia National Bar Association and say, you guys are the legal professional group, I want maybe a list of lawyers, or maybe we even get some international partners to bring in people to evaluate and look at it. To do asset recovery in Liberia, I'm not a financial person, or just common sense. I don't think it's very difficult. Because if I'm there, the way I'm going to begin is I just go and take the payroll from the Ministry of Finance for the most recent time, from 2006. Hey, you were representative from 2006 to 2018 or 2017. This is how much representative you are making. Let's look at the asset you have now. We put all together. Let's say you didn't even eat anything. You didn't buy clothes. This money you have, can I buy you 24 trucks? Can I build a house, the 26 houses you have? So where you got it from? Right there. They can't justify it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would do my asset. I would do my financial crime. You have committed economic crime. That you came to public office, broke, and after 12 years, or after 18 years, or after 6 years, this is what you have. Your salary in public service could not have given you this. So you committed economic crimes against the state. Who go there and seize everything. For me, it's very easy to prosecute this kind of case. It's very easy. But again, is President Boaga going to have the courage to bring in the right people on such a process that will go after those crabs who have been stealing our money, those thieves who call themselves politicians? Oh, I have more votes. You have more votes because you've been stealing from the people and making the people poor, and they come to you for you to feed them. Then they support you. Then you call that you are popular. You are not popular. You are a criminal. And the country has been impoverished by your action. So these people are following you. They are following their victimizers. And that's what happened in abusive relationship, because they have not seen the other side. They always follow their abusers. And that's what is happening in Liberia.
So wait, where is that video? It's a clip. Whenever I listen to that clip, I laugh. President Boaga, he was, I think, yesterday he was touring. He went somewhere, and I think on an open mic, somebody said, "Labram people." I saw the people they want money. What I clip? He said, "Look at the bull."
The president was saying the truth, though.
But you're right.
No, the president was saying the truth. Labram people are beggars.
He's about to see people.
Timely.
We Liberians, we are generally mean, Tomalin. No, or Alex, before you come in, let me tell you. We can argue this. Liberians are generally mean people.
Mm-hmm.
So, there is an American girl, black American girl, I will call her name, Maria Miller, who worked in Liberia before. She used to live in the Prince Avenue area. She told me a story. She actually called me in a meeting. That time I was working for the government of Liberia, and she was working for the World Bank, actually IFC. It's been me. It's been begging people. Is it part of your culture? I said, no, begging is not part of our culture. She said, look, I don't have any younger child or sister. I go to the US, I collect all my Google clothes that can fit me because I'm making good money. I bring them to Liberia. I give it to people, young girls in my community. I bring clothes for children. But guess what they do? They come to me with papaya. They come to me when they get cucumber, tomato, because those are the fruits I eat. They don't come to give it to me. They come to sell it to me. But I give them what I can afford free. What they can afford, they don't give it to me free. They can come and beg.
Yeah, but no,
So
but
you want to know what I'm begging was part of our culture.
the body, you listen to that thing? You listen to that clip?
Yeah, but I mean, but Tony, he said to put a big, but he said to be asking for money though.
That's what I'm saying.
He said
The next time I'm begging for money.
You know, if I said, I don't see JMB rescue. He said, look at it.
No, well,
I beg you.
No, but
he said, I don't see people the money. The money better.
Sorry. Oh, you asking
but you
for
see,
money?
He said,
right.
I don't see people, they kind of street there. JMB, rescue.
But you know, Dr. Peabody, on a serious note, I can't blame the people. Okay. Yes, a country. Think about it, right? If you look at Liberia on the HDI, the Human Development Index, which breaks down the condition of the people, jobs, education, attainment, health.
Right.
Liberia is one of the lowest.
The lowest, yeah.
Okay. The Irish, I mean, you got almost, I would say, if I do a real calculation, because my friend, brother, what that Councillor Gonglo, when he was a Minister of Labor, he didn't do no real unemployment. But when you really look at Liberia, unemployment rate is pushing maybe 80%. At least 80%. Okay?
Alex is misleading statistics.
Okay. So let me tell you how I come up by 80%. Hold on, let me tell you how I come up by 80%. Okay? Yeah. We have 5 million people in the country. You agree with me that at least 1 million people are over the age of 18, right? At least 1 million people in Liberia between the ages of 18 and maybe 80, right? Okay, the government hires, let's say 70,000 people. The government total payroll is 70,000, right? So where the other, 830,000, what was the map say? Yeah, 930,000 people, where are they working? Maybe you take all the MRCs and you take all little small thing. That's 1 million people in Liberia still that in the workforce do not have income. Then you take the bulk of the salary wage bill, which is around 300 million, right? Of that 300 million, about 500 people in Liberia makes almost a quarter of that 300 million. The president, the vice president, the speakers, the legislator, about 500 people. What do you expect the rest of the people, the 800 or 700,000 adults that can work in Liberia, how do you expect them to eat? Except to beg. So the problem is not bucket and brought this problem. They are paying, Burma Commodity sitting there making $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month. That was there making $15,000 a month. But they're the same one will come out and talk about the Liberian people. They will not sit and say, you know what, in a third world country where the average income is less than $2 a day, I shouldn't be making this kind of money. They will take that money. They will send their children to JJ Roberts, and they will send their kids there when they graduate to America to school. Work out in government when you send your children to school in America. So you live on Liberian government salary, right? And you're supporting a child in a first world country on your salary from Liberia. But then you'll come and still complain and say, oh, we get schools, we get rules, where's the leadership? So lastly, let me say this.
But Alex, yeah.
Let me finish my last point, then you can come in. When I said that, a lot of people think that about Joseph Boakai is just the age thing, I disagree with them. Okay? It's not just the age thing. There have been many presidents. Ronald Reagan was almost 80 years old when he was president. He was one of the sharpest presidents you can think about. So maybe the age thing is a factor. But Joseph Boakai, in my opinion, I write extensively. I do research before I write. I have yet to read one paper, one article that Boakai has authored in his entire 40-year career. The man has no ideas. He's from an era, like in the era where the bossman just sit down in the office, the other person can, the gain little thing, the other person can. Show me what policy this man has really championed in Liberia in his entire political life. Like I said, you're looking at my policy there. I haven't even held government position, but I can show you articles, upon articles, ideas, proposals that you can Google and you can find. Show me where Buckeye. So the man does not have ideas. So when I say he's incapacitated, not just mentally or medically, that he does not have the leadership capacity, the managerial capacity to run a corporation, much less a country. And for those of you who think I high on the president, I used to be high just the way on George we are. The president should be one of the sharpest person economically in the country.
So Alex,
Yeah, no, Kerabu, I want to bring this guy in, please. That
okay,
guy
bring
in
him.
Liberia. Tonga Alexander Biade. He's a Liberian journalist. He was former station manager for the former president. We are radio station, Kings FM. He ran that station. When he was there, it was one of the top stations in Liberia. He did a good job there. He recently ran in Grand Bassa County for the representative, senator or representative? Representative in Grand Bassa County in the last election. He ran a very effective campaign. But again, like you were saying, Ellis Jones, well, all you just said, Liberian people, the people of Liberia, they have a tendency, they go out giving us how many times? They give us 2005, 2011, 2017, 2023. And that's why whenever I hear them say, when they get ready, they say, we fool you. Papa, we fool you. We made mistake. I want to see that video, I can turn it off because the same people, it's a cycle. Like what Mr. Coming said, he said you doing the same thing.
Yeah, expecting different result.
Yeah, that's exactly what can happen. So they complain.
Exactly.
But Toga, welcome to the closing argument. You're on the ground, you've been there for the entire 100 days. Give people listening to you around the world. Tell us about the 100 days and they moved in the country. You one of the guys who I respect. You very fearless. You independent. So you want to give us something objective. Go ahead.
Thank you to you, Tomalin, to Dr. Peabody, Mr. Jones, and the rest of the people on the show. I'm happy to be here with you all. And it's good to be on the ground here and see for ourselves firsthand what's happening. Sometimes people would think that some of you, though I know many of you come in intermittently like that to the country back and forth, but some people think that some of you who live abroad will not know what's happening here 24/7. And so people tend to mislead the public on some of the issues happening. The first thing is my understanding that the government was able to say today that over 785 kilometers of road were done. I don't want to believe that. In fact, up to today, the entire southeast is still cut off. Bulk of the roads that are being shown are basically between maybe Toastan to Grand Chile and those kind of places. Bulk of the southeast still having similar situation like we've always had. And these are not asphalt pavement. We are talking about around 22 million. In fact, it's my understanding that before all of this ends, we will be talking around $22.8 million that will have been invested into dusty roads. I don't know why are we investing such a money
How much?
into what's $22.8 million. Wow. What we've now also understanding is that bulk of the equipment that are being used at the moment are equipment procured by the Ministry of Public Works on former President George Weah. So these are not brand new equipment that the ministry is buying or using or those kind of stuff. All these equipment come from the past regime, and that's what you're using. So your basic expenditure should be maybe on fueling. Bulk of these staff already work for the Ministry of Public Works and all of that. So it's still mind-blowing what you're using for $22.8 million. Now, another thing is some of these roads are being done by some of the companies in these areas. So it's not just the government doing all these roads. I come from Bassa, and I know the road between Basso and Riverside is being done by a company. It's not being done by the government of Liberia, though the government is claiming that as one of its 100 days. So probably, if you check the budgetary aspect, it's under that budget. But that road is not being done by the government. It's being done by a private company along that route. In fact, I think B Mountain is also trying to appease the citizens of Riverside and those parts of the country because they want to move over there. They own some exploration and all of that. So they are some of the companies opening those roads on our end as well. The government claims that. The government posts that on our 100 days deliverables. Now, another issue has to do with this 10,000, I think, IT students, something you heard about. So I think this is one of the reasons why, President Bouaka took the arbitrary and hasty action at the LTA. Because this function will have concluded the 100 days. You saw today the president having a whole gathering to begin this 10,000, ICT program for Liberian students. You saw it today going on. And bulk of the people in our hall were all the new guys who should be taking over the LTA. So this program has been planned to conclude the 100 days endeavor. So the president had to short circuit the entire thing that came from the judiciary because he wanted this function to conclude the 100 days event. That's why the hasty, drastic, arbitrary action was taken at the LTA. The entire new leadership of LTA was there. In fact, I know that the current head of the LTA runs an ICT program already, Mr. Abdullah Kamara. He runs an IT program. It's right in Congo Town.
Really? Like conflict of interest. When we were flagging.
Yeah.
We
He runs an IT program at the moment. He has a company called Tama TV. I think you follow Tama TV.
President Bouaka will be
So Tama TV is owned by this guy. And where Tama TV got its office is right opposite this guy's IT or vocational program. So bulk of the people you saw attending the function today were people that just came from a school that he brought to a function because he was opening an IT program. I'm telling you. So all of these are missteps only because we wanted to prove a point today that the LTA is functional. The LTA has a new management team and they're already there. So we send police, we send EPS to protect them, to give them control of a terrain illegally. My only regret also has to do with the opposition. I think the opposition needs to re-energize and re-strengthen its engagement and begin to push. Because bulk of the people who are even on the Supreme Court bench, they know that many of them are still of an age that will enter into a next regime after Bouaka. And there's a need for them to begin to take stringent measures with or without favors. And with the way they're proceeding, I think many of them will fall in trouble in the next regime. Because a man's right cannot be trampled upon. The man goes to court and you refuse to accept the prohibition of these people. It's unfortunate.
The very decision that you made. You made that decision.
You made a decision. In fact, the court proceeding was clear. The controversial or the embattled LTA commissioners, the action they took to go to court were exactly against the new individuals that were bringing. So if you see the document from the court, it says these commissioners versus these people that Bouaka are bringing in. So technically, that court proceeding were not just against the Bouaka's administration; it was against individuals that were named. How can these same people are the ones that are coming now to replace, as though your ruling did not affect them? Because the ruling you made came against these people because it was these people versus the people that Bouaka. Check the court proceeding, the how it went. Unfortunately, that is seeing people coming back to sit at the LTA and run the LTA. Another group of people that I'm also disappointed in got to do with the legislature because this issue is taking a political trend. So the political decisions also must come into play. I saw an article reading by the senator from Sinai. Yes, because nice article, all in place, succinctly put, and all of that. Very good. But the issue is, he's not like us. We can come on social media, we can use these talk shows, we can speak, but are we actually the policy makers? No, we are not. You are one. So you and myself cannot be looking for attention on social media by writing there. We can take more stronger and harder decisions than just writing on Facebook. I mean, if a senator, like all of our political actors now, are the new trend. They come on Facebook, they write nice things, we clap for them, we celebrate them. At the end of the day, what we fail to realize is that these people are policy makers and they could make those decisions right among their colleagues. Why are you writing it on Facebook?
Right.
If you got issue with LTA as a senator, do you need to come on Facebook for you and myself to buy into that idea? It's not enough. A senator must go back on Capitol Hill before they pass that budget the other day, or before the Senate concurred with the House of Representatives on our budget. Senator Chieshu out of file a motion for reconsideration on our budget to say, look, I would love this budget to be passed, but before it passes, I think a decision should be reached that the entire LTA or all those concerned will tell you will not put a cent in this budget towards the institution until this impasse is solved. He's a senator. But the man said no, he ignored that.
I
The
don't.
man could file even a vote of no confidence in the new people that are going to the LTA and say, no, you people are illegally sitting. The man could even threaten the judiciary with impeachment.
Mm-hmm.
He has those powers. The man leaves all his powers, but the man can't on Facebook for you and myself to buy into his argument.
Yeah.
That is my disappointment.
But the whole thing had been, I think, from my deduction, the whole thing is planned. It was just set up. We're going to fire them. I mean, we're going to ruin their favor. All you do the next day, fire them. When they come back, you will not accept the case. It was set up. It was a judicial a jab. It was a complete jab.
Yes.
I agree with you. Look, I concur with you, Toga. On a serious note, first of all, the president's decision to call for audit, he acted upon a status report that the very people he suspended presented to him, a status report. But I told him he would have said, well, okay, if anything, let the GAC do an audit. If they come up with anything, you take an action. But like you said, it was all planned. And then my surprise, the thing that bothers me is that you have justices. The Supreme Court our constitution says that you have three separate branches of government. Now, the Supreme Court, you're not under the executive branch. You are a branch of yourself. You got, and mind you, on that right now they are four because the other guy died. You have Justice Yami Gbese. He was nominated by President Weah. Even though he had a lot of questionable issue with him, his record was on a question. He had a lot of cases that were question mark. But yet and still President Weah nominated him. Yami Gbese, the Senate confirmed him. You had Justice Yusuf Kaba, who was nominated by President Weah, okay, on a bench. Then you have the Chief Justice, who President Weah elevated as Chief Justice. The only person that on our Supreme Court that came from the UP was okay, and the Supreme Court they play a key role in our country transformation, because as people are telling me today, the only hope we got for is our Supreme Court. That when you go for justice, but what you see happening, and it's aligned to happen, it make it look just small, because honestly, and then like you said about Senator Augustine's chair, I saw what he wrote, but when I went to room, I said it's not enough. It's not enough. If you serious, you will go to you put a stuff on the floor to the president, put them, say, look, the people that were president nominated will not confirm them until the writing is done.
And then Tomalin,
for the fact that they allowed to go to work the next day, they went there, people were cheering them, and they took office. I mean, I don't understand what happened.
There is another issue, I think, that was started by Senator Finley. I don't know how far he's gone with that law or so, but the issue of acting and how long can someone hide. In fact, the legislature raised that issue with the issue of former mayor of Monrovia. What's the woman named Mirabro? Mirabro acted over a year after the Senate refused, I think, to confirm her because she slapped an office staff of the Senate that year. Now, that woman acted over a year. The Senate raised that issue. I'm hearing that Senator Finley is trying to even put a bill on the floor that, look, you cannot act like you say now. This government has up to 6 years, and you just send acting commissioners to LTA, and you expect that those acting commissioners will act for 6 years. Technically, they will be seated illegally for 6 years, and this is wrong. How long can you act? It also has to be honest to honor the laws. You can't act for Senator Finley is even proposing that no one should act for more than 3 months. Because technically, it means you usurping the function of the Senate in terms of confirmation. The
So what
Senate should
action?
confirm
What
you
action? What
before
action?
you
What
become
action?
legitimate.
So what
But you
action?
cannot be asked.
So Toga,
What
Yes,
action Senator Finley is going to Basanga? What
I think
action?
he's trying to put a new bill on the floor
okay,
so that people who want to act, there will be timeline for acting. If you don't do that, there will be problem because the president could say somebody could act for the rest of the tenure.
correct.
And then
Toga,
that person should technically be confirmed and all of that, but he's just keeping the man acting over and over.
all right. Toga, if I can come in,
Yes.
you make some very good point. Very, very good, brilliant point. But one point that stands up to what you're saying, and I was just reading the comments, and somebody was even saying we're drinking Kool-Aid, and they are right.
Yeah, like Joe
Now,
Jala.
they are right. You
Jala.
know, they were right. We're drinking Kool-Aid. We can talk all this thing yet. Yes, I agree with your point that acting and all that kind of stuff is putting a bill before. But do you really think that's the real? How is that really going to provide job for somebody in Liberia or somebody who got to feed their children for the next 5 years? The real issue in Liberia here is economics. The real issue in Liberia is you have a failing and corrupt government. When I used to come on and say that these politicians are corrupt, corruption can take two forms. There's economic corruption, there's political corruption. What Joseph Boyka did, Dr. Peabody, is what you call political corruption, where you use the existing system. You go in cahoots and you kind of mastermind this whole thing to fool the public. It's dishonesty. So while I was saying Joseph Boyka is corrupt, Alex Comey is corrupt, George Weah is corrupt, okay, these leaders, they all do the same thing. They put the interest of their party or their personal interest over the national interest. And that's what you're having. And you're talking the last one you were making about the opposition. Okay. The opposition in Liberia is in a quagmire because you got the CDC, you got a unit party. The problem here is that the opposition does not have credibility. They cannot talk about some of these things that anybody in Liberia listen because the opposition is questionable. Most of the decisions that they made in the time they govern, you understand, people had the same issues with it. Like you're talking about the LTA when the guy was they was suspended. There was a lot of irregularity. So the question that I want to ask you is, where do you see the way forward? Because we can talk about this small thing and yet next we will be on something else. The other we will be on something else. How does the country move forward? Get a leader that can straighten this buckle up. Like I said, if you don't have a leader in Liberia, I'm not advocating like Jerry Rawlings militarily, but I'm talking about a leader that will be straight to the letter. Whether the person from your political party or not, the law will be the law and thing. How do we obtain that kind of leadership moving forward? Because that's the only thing that will change Liberia.
When
Period.
you move to Liberia,
I would
Alex,
think
please.
that.
But let me
I would
add this.
think.
Let me add this piece to it before you come in
Yes,
the
please.
other. I think we're quick to forget. I don't agree with Alex's argument on the basis for this for having an opposition. Some members of the opposition discredited. You are in the opposition, Alex, so you can't put yourself in a group and say you are discredited too. But I think there are certain elements within the opposition that the voters don't believe in them. And the reason is very simple. In 2005, group of politicians, United Party, there were several contestants, United Party being the lead. They actually did go to the voters and say, we're going to change your country. We're going to make things better for you. We're going to change your life. After 12 years, poverty increased. CDC came with hope for what? Whatever, the hope matron. What happened?
Poverty increase.
United Party came by, and they were with other contestants. There were 20 or 22 contestants. Like Alice was talking about corrupt media. They could only highlight 2 persons, the CDC and United Party, period. The rest of the other contestants, whatever they were saying, even they were saying genuine issue that speak to the radical transformation of the country, in making the lives of the people better, they didn't care for that, right? They were talking about rule of law, they didn't care for that. They say, are you UPAs or are CDC? I'm born sedition or I'm born UPAs, right? That are born got us where we are. So now, but majority of the voters are not partisans. So they don't believe in these people, that they keep promising when they have power, they don't change. And that is really the problem. But the people who really need to change the country are not given the power. So, like Pierre Lumumba would say, how do you give hyenas to mine your goat? And when the goats are stolen, then you ask, where is my goat? But you gave your goat to hyenas to mine.
No, but you say what you saying making sense. I can tell you this though. Just now, tomorrow you organize election like bro tomorrow. Don't mind people like bro. You will end up with the same. They will end up with the same 2 parties again.
No, I disagree with you, Timothy. I disagree with you. If you have a media, if we have a fair media, like I said, if you go and you invite Josh Weah to come on your program as a guest, you also got to invite Alice Jones. You also got to invite Alice Cummings. You also got to invite Tewan Gonglo. If you do that, and all of us talk, right? I can guarantee you the Liberian people will be able to choose. The people are not stupid. But if you go and you invite only Alice Jones, right? You play him 3 times a week. You don't bring anybody. I would love to debate these guys. I challenge the Martin Collins, the Kofi Wolf.
But here's the thing: the Liberian people, right? When you talk about debate and thing, they can downplay it. They want they say it ain't important. No,
but they listen to the FM station every day. What you say on the station here, they listen to it.
Alex, I repeat again. All of the people complain now. I can bet you elections held in December or 2-3 months from now. They will tell you, say, you know what happened? They get the paper chain. The paper just started, they get chain. So the paper was making mistake for. They get chain. So they get paper chain.
I don't think so.
There's another thing.
It's not what I'm hearing now. That's not what I'm hearing now. I don't think so. Because you know what? Liberians are quick to change their mind. Liberians do not let suffering. Look, the top manners will be falling from heaven.
No, I can tell you this. I mean,
now,
if the media do the job,
am I wrong?
One gallon of gas is
Let me ask you a question. The last 2005, from 2005, who were the 2 parties that wanted to define us? CDC and UP.
Always CDC and UP.
11, UP and CDC. 2017, UP and CDC. Come again, 2023. Come on, you say they will change? I beg you.
Because what we say, Tomalin, Tomalin, the reason is because since 2006, we've had a corrupt media that is, first of all, the media in Liberia is very unprofessional. They don't know how to conduct election. They don't know how, no debate was really held. I mean, they have one debate with Walker and Cummings and whatever. So they don't educate the public. If you have an ignorant public in terms of politics, you're going to get the result.
No, money. If you raise the money, you will get a media coverage.
That's not true. That's not true. Alice Cummings and Josh Weah have more money.
As a media person, let me speak a little bit about this whole debate thing. All right. The first thing, we don't have a law here that constrains any politician to go to debate.
Exactly.
It should start with the legislature. I think if the legislature puts a law together to say, look, maybe top 5, top 10 candidates in the country will go to debate at XYZ, something like that attracts people to debate. You don't have any law that constrains. I mean, the USAID and other top institutions in the country, international organizations, have invested a lot into debate. They've invested it. When you call for the debate, the key actors do not attend, and you cannot constrain the man to go to the man from your hall to come to the debate.
John Colley.
Oh,
John Colley.
There's a
No,
problem.
Toga, I disagree.
It is
You
a
don't need
problem.
a law.
Anywhere in the world.
We must have a
Debate is
culture.
free.
You don't. Yes,
Besides
debate
the
is a free
culture,
thing.
you know, and I know, like in the United States, if you don't attend a debate, you almost done. You completely done.
Because
Because the media,
Here,
because
the
the
people
reason
who
you're
go to
done,
debate said that the people can win an election.
because in America, the media would not allow you. They will chew you up so bad, you will run to debate. So let me tell you something. You don't have to pass a law. The LBS, for the Liberia Broadcasting System, does not belong to the president party or the ruling party. That's the first mistake you make. I should be able to go on LBS. I should be able to air my views on LBS, just like the president. So the law already exists. LBS for the public interest. So if you allow, I can tell you, you allow somebody like me in like broad media, and I can tell you they will run. They will run to debate because I will pound them day and night. I can tell you right now. You know why I've been banned on many stations? You know why I've been banned on many stations? You know why my article will not be published on Front Page Africa any longer? Because of that reason. So it's not the question of whether these people are trying to debate or not.
It depends now.
They are protecting.
It depends on your choice of words too when it comes to listening to. Anyway,
I have never used. Let me address this here. I think we talk. Let me address this here. Okay. I have a very cool command in English language. I didn't eat my mother's tuition. I have never used any word on the media that is a profanity, that is against any ethics. I challenge anybody. All my writings, I write almost every day on Facebook. Go there and tell me where I have used vulgarity or insulted anybody. Telling somebody is incompetent or you have a useless government.
So I'm telling you.
Now, another thing,
They can't
another thing I
know.
wanted to speak to, besides the debating, another thing I wanted to speak to.
Mhm.
I'm also frustrated about the cherry picking that the president is doing as regards the 10U issue. Now, take for example, we have a situation at NASCAR.
Mhm.
The situation at NASCAR, I'm talking about in 2 or 3 folds. One, you have a NASCAR bus that is not going to work. It's a 10U portfolio. He's in the United States. He's been there for a couple of months. He has a 10U job. He's taking taxpayers' money. And he's temporarily incapacitated. And he's sitting abroad. And the president is yet to do anything about that. 2, the same NASCAR. The president's current chief of staff took $500,000 from NASCAR before he could even be inaugurated.
Mhm.
He took that money and they bought a couple of SUVs for the president behind George Weah, who was the sitting president's back. Now, had these instances been 10U portfolios that the president wanted to squash, by the time they not put big corruption scandal on somebody and the president already ordered the job. These are cherry picking issues. Now, you currently auditing even Central Bank of Liberia. There are several other institutions. You remember the last time the president called for audit of several institutions. All the institutions that are being audited, nobody or head of these institutions are told to sit down at home while the audit is ongoing. But only because he wanted to bring his people in at LTA, you start an audit process and you say all the people must go sit down home and new people must be taking their role. I think this is troubling. For me, this kind of cherry picking is wrong.
Why isn't the press writing about it?
Right.
It is mind-boggling because the first year, how can you do an audit when the people that you're auditing are not there? The information you may need, certain pieces of information you need to ask them. So this thing is plain, man. What they're going to do, they'll come out and indict and say, "Oh, you're still this amount." That's all they're going to do. It's already planned. So they don't want to pay them. It's another way they're not going to pay their money. So what they're going to do is they're going to bring an indictment on them, accuse them falsely, and say that they stole money, which they didn't do. But that shows how divisive the precedent you have is. That shows how deep. That's very deep. That shows the kind of person as a leader who's supposed to say, you know what, I will take control of the whole situation, he had come and divided them to the highest level, and if possible, he will go to the extent and jail them. They will create lie because they are in cahoot with the Supreme Court. There's a Supreme Court. Some people want on that Supreme Court now want to be the Chief Justice because Shannon
Right.
Gill will be retiring very soon. Some of them want
Right.
that job. So they say we got to go low on the president because we want that job, or they have promised some of them already. Because it makes no sense that you made the decision and the president went against it. We came back to you to let you know, and you say you're not going to accept it. Those are the thing I want to say on the show. I can say it.
Toga, look, I mean, guys, I'm sorry we're out of time, but Toga, look, I hope you'll be joining us, man. I think
Toga, come back, man. It's good.
Sense to the discourse.
Yes, come back.
The issue about Grace Bay, the president's chief of staff and his minister of state diverting pensioners' money into buying vehicles. That's something that's an issue. And like you said about the NASCAR, yes, don't forget the NASCAR guy supported President Boyka. And he's, in 2010, he's one of the guys who took care of him. So you understand all of that. And it is not right, President. But again, you see, where do we go for a remedy or a redress?
No way.
Of course.
But two,
we got no
lawmakers. I know Senator Amara Kone and Dillon spoke about this issue with the Minister of State. And they even asked for him to resign. They called the president to resign. But they have only said about it, but they left his nothing have been done about it. So if I'm pushing something, I'll comment Musa Belete. Musa Belete wrote. He went through. He said he told GAC your audit, you should commission audit on less. I saw a letter the GAC and boss wrote him acknowledging his communication and that they would do a system audit. The idea he followed through. You don't just talk about it, just talk about it on Facebook and then the public can praise you on your post. No. Whenever you write this thing on Facebook, follow through. What's the outcome? Because honestly, if Minister Connor or Dillon, Senators Connor or Dillon, they are serious about what they said, they will say, look, Madam Pro Tem, we're calling for an investigation. We're calling for an investigation into what happened at NASCAR, about the cars business. You call for it. Okay?
But Dillon have been very silent on this whole LTA thing.
Because why? They have the interest. You think they don't want for your friend Patrick Hunter to get a job? He wanted to happy. Like buddy, so they were happy. But it's not fair to the country. But again,
Amar is doing a great job. I didn't hear him talk much about this this thing.
I've been reading his post, yes, but it seems not to. I want to see let it follow through.
Amar did a great job.
Again, that's the problem. But Toga, look, I think you brought a lot to the discourse tonight. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, come back again, my man. Come back.
We have time,
but on Friday.
Man. Yeah,
people, man,
we'll be around.
And I said again, I always thought that you would have done a good job. You have been elected in your district because I saw what you're doing in your district. You did a lot of good things in that district even before you thought about running. So
until you get it, Liberian people do not like good people. They love the people who can use them, eat their money, and make them poor. That's who they love. Liberian people like good people.
And like what you said about the follow-up issue, what Representative Ability did, the follow-up issue, like you see, there's the guy, for example, Representative Foko, who talk about the impeachment proceeding, for example. I mean, right after making that statement, the next thing is to move towards somebody putting a bill of impeachment together, putting it on the floor, those kind of things. You see, one of the reasons Yeka Koluba, for example, had all the issues with the Buffer Chima's administration was because Buffer were not putting Yeka's issues on the floor. Yeka raised a lot of issues. Today, Yeka is taking most of his issue mostly on the executive as compared to the speaker, because the speaker is allowing everybody to put their issues on the floor. That's one of the things I can commend you about. Amidst all the things
he's a good man.
Yeah, but if you wrote your issue and you send, it will get on the floor of the legislature. Whatever the debates are on the floor also, that's a different ballgame. So most of the guys in the legislature should put their issues on the floor. It should be debated, and we depend on now the legislature that directly represents us, the people, and the judiciary. Though it's true, and some of the inconsistencies and all of that, but our major problem today has to do with the executive. People made a lot of promises about things they were going to change. They're sitting down in positions of power, and all these things are not happening. That issue that is happening, for example, at NASCOP is very troubling. I mean, to have even gone behind a sitting president to take 500,000 of pensioners' money from NASCOP, buy SUVs. I'm understanding that some of those SUVs are even in the current president's convoy.
We
And you
will follow
passing
through.
around with it.
And
And you
mind
all
you,
around, we're talking about
we,
100 days. The 100
we're
days,
still,
yes, I know President Bwaka came on a whole mantra of, fighting corruption and this kind of stuff.
Wow.
But it will soon
How
get
did I
finished.
put a say?
When the people get tired with all the corruption you want to fight, the next thing, like my brother Ellis Jones was saying, people will start talking about hunger. You know the reason people are not talking about hunger yet, Alex? Is because people want you to fight corruption, but they want you to be holistic with it. Your corruption you want to fight might not be about certain people. You can't say that corruption will only be to fight the people that still get tenure job from the CDC's regime, but corruption right under your arm where you take 500,000 from NASCAR, you use it at your own will and pleasure. When all your corruption fight finish, when everything finish, the next thing now, the young people, the old people will start talking about jobs. Look at, for example, the president goes to a company like Western Cluster and say he will close down the company. I agree. Western Cluster might be doing some very wrong thing in the region, but is closure our solution? No. You can put in mechanisms and some steps to ensure that the company does the right thing. You know why closure is wrong? Because when you close the company, then thousands of people will lose their job. And at the end of the day, these people will become pressure on the state.
Well, mind
you don't have a system like in the West when they make other jobs. You don't have people to find job for the man. You supposed to be feeding the man. And you understand? You have a system that will survive on these jobs.
Most of us
Until you close that company. So I see people celebrating and think the president about to take a tough position. How does that tough position help to put food on somebody's table?
Exactly.
How?
Most of people have supported the President Bwaka rescue team. They connected to that Western cluster. So if he closes down, he will be stepping on some of his supporters, them and toes. I mean, they are connected somewhere. Oh yeah, they get contracts with the people.
But you see, but Tomalin, if you read Front Page Africa, you'll notice that some of these same supporters are coming in and making it appear, yes, the president is well, and he closed the company down. You read Front Page Africa, you see some of the costs on it. And I know that these are people that are serving thousands of people, and when these people get out of job, they will be in trouble.
Look,
because as soon as people get out of job, they will be on Snow's fund, they will be to American fund, they will be to the lawmakers fund, they will put something to farm food for them. Then at the end of the day, the president will start crying and say the people baking.
But Anthony County was the simple that voting. They voted for Joe Bwaka in numbers.
Let me say something.
You know,
I know I won't call me, but there's an official government doing something. Look, this is the same thing. Do you know the issue at the port at the free port? All the how they call they say the CTN, they met all that stuff there. People in the government, members of the legislature, I know their names. They said, look, they went to the whole thing about that what time we got what people there. We want a contract. That why that is same old thing. They want a contract. They want to get because if I bring a company,
we can talk today and talk tomorrow. Nothing going to change.
But that's what happened.
It's a two Buddha. How can you be a legislator and you are the major supplier of trucks, for example, to Metal Steel? How?
Right. That's a shame.
That's the problem we're facing in the country. That's what the problem the country is facing. But guys, look, let's call it a day because we're out of time. It will be
we gotta go
Friday. Well, I will say this though. Yes, on Saturday we'll be in Maryland for the High Table Spring Dumbbell Festival under the leadership of our High Table chairlady Makan Randall. We're having dumbbell soup, goat meat, and peanut soup.
God, I'm getting hungry already.
Complimentary drinks on the house. That May 4th. Music by DJ Tom Sherman. We'll be there, man. I think the argument guys will be there. We'll be down there, We'll be there to make sure this work. Ella June, what state are you in?
No, I'm in Massachusetts.
Oh, really? I used to live in Rhode Island for a long time, close there.
Okay. I'm in New Hampshire all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll meet up. We'll meet up before I leave. So
I always in Rhode Island.
I will connect with you. But no, let me just say this, Tomalin, and you know,
Today the birthday of Yeke Koluba. Just Yeke, happy birthday today.
Sylvia, you got call about, gotta see, brother.
Alex Jones, happy birthday to you also. Your birthday too. Today's Alex Jones' birthday. I mean, it's good to spend your birthday with us in a closing argument. That's good, Alex.
No problem.
And also happy birthday to Honorable Yeke Koluba. They're all celebrating their birthday today. They're all the May 1st guys. Welcome, guys, and hope you guys having a pleasant birthday and enjoying yourselves, you know. But Alex Jones, I mean, today your birthday. Give your closing comment on your
Happy birthday, Alex. Wish you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll keep working for the people, even on my birthday. No problem. They'll remember me in 2029. No, but you know, I just want to close on this point. I think it's a good show, and I think Toka brought a lot to the table as a journalist, and I think, you know, I applaud you guys for always reaching beyond your, you know, your core group to bring people. I would say that if you're expecting this government or the legislator to bring the change that Liberia needs, then you're depending on a broken stick. These people have vested interests; they're there for themselves. But I do believe strongly in the media, and that's why I don't give you guys hard time, because I believe that the media is the one that can really shape the society and change the discussion. So when I hear these things happening and then it's not reported in the media or it's not adequately discussed, you know, I get very disappointed. So you keep doing what you're doing, and I believe just like how single-handedly the Spoon TV got Burka elected, single-handedly closing argument can get Joseph Burka removed for incapacitation. So you have a big responsibility, huge responsibility. The country is depending on you, and how you play this to the tone of the people is how they're going to go. You're more powerful than you think you are. I know I'm powerful when I say, well, one time I get all the calls that coming in. So let's keep being honest with the Liberian people. Let's forget about partisan, and let's just say the right things and do the right things, irrespective of, you know, what side we on. And I think the Liberian people will reward us and will thank us for that responsibility. Thank you so much, and again, thanks for all those for the birthday wishes.
Man, Alex Jones, enjoy your birthday. Go and have fun.
Thank you. All right, guys.
Your day.
Okay.
Have fun, brother.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeke Koluba, man. Yeke, today your birthday. I know I told you happy birthday today. Happy birthday, Yeke Koluba. I hope you enjoy your day. I hope God bless you and protect you in all your endeavors. Buddy, have been a good show, man. Like you said, 100 days of this government. People are not satisfied. People are not satisfied. All people are complaining. But I hope they can rebound. They can rebound in the next 6 months and see what happens. But they already gone 100 days into their time. As soon as low, it will be the year will be over. Will be end of 2025. Year one will be gone.
Yeah. Just before we close, hey guys, we still need your help for the closing argument. A few people donated today. Patient Green, Ivan Lokin, Sarah Dupo, Winifred Smith. They sent gift to us today. Who was the other guy? Let me make sure I call him. Just want to make sure I don't leave anybody out. But we still asking for a contribution. We want to continue on this show. You gotta help us, guy. You know, we don't do that. But Monuba colleague, thank you as well. But guys, the Cash App is there. If you couldn't do it today, we ask that sometimes you just go there and send out a contribution. But don't forget to attend the High Table. If you live in the Maryland area, go to the High Table this Saturday, man. It's going to be a lot of fun, food, and all of that. Go and be part of the celebration. Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. Doma soup, goat meat soup, peanut soup, GB. Oh my God, dried rice. Jeez, I know the GB and the Doma now. Which one will take?
I wash my hand to eat a GB.
Yeah, I'll start with GB and end with the no. I'll start with GB, continue with Doma, then end with the dry rice. I'm telling you, just $25, guys. If I come back, I think I would give like 3 or 4 pounds, right?
The chairman will be there. The Keff will be there. Grace will be there. Caleb will be there. Everybody will be there, man.
So, guys, if you want to come up, man.
Come and have some fun in the park.
the guy from Coast and Acton, man. Come
Lake
chat,
Ridge
brother.
Drive, Boys, Maryland.
Yeah.
Shelter C. We'll be down there, man. Mark out who you getting ready for us. We'll be there, round up. And the guys,
but good show, Tomalin. I gotta run, guys. Thank the guys in studio, man. You guys did a wonderful job.
Yeah, Herman Jala, man, you guys did well. Aaron, you sleeping? What up, man? You wake that man up.
Aaron.
Aaron, you on live, oh.
Okay, guys, we'll see you.
I see you guys, boy. Aaron Jala. Oh, Aaron. Robert left, right? Robert Gagwa left, right? Eh?
We got Aaron tired. We got Aaron hanging on Robert all night.
Oh, yo, Robert, eh? Oh, I don't know. Okay.
All right.
I'll be Robert back. Robert back.
All right, guys. Hold it down.
You guys, man. Henry, I'll take it over. See you guys.
What's this, Grace?
You level.
Yeah. Grace, she's gonna pick up her daughter.
Damn it.
Pick up her daughter.
Okay.
Oh. Henry. You can hear me? Henry.
That great job.
Yes, it's Grace. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you boss me, Henry.
You on live, Grace?
Yeah, I want you to inbox me.
I'm
Inbox
not
me,
getting
Henry.
it. Hello? You getting me?
Yeah, you can hear me?
You hearing her? Harry, y'all? Harry, y'all?
You ain't hearing me yet.
You don't play luggage movie, though. We will see Friday. That'll go, yeah. Okay.
I'll message you on it. Let me see it.
Okay, you message me already?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, good night.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, there's all the time we have to be able to play on a closing argument. Time is up there for 6 minutes.